All right. So, it's my first time trying to do a multi-stream here, so I'm just making sure that this works. So let me just make sure I'm actually on YouTube. Okay, looks like I am on Twitch. It's my first time on Twitch also. Just put something in the chat if you are watching, although I don't know if anyone will be on yet. Okay, yeah, looks like we are multi-streaming. So I am going to jump into Discord here in a second. Trying to see what else I've got here. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm trying my first sort of multi-stream here, so I'm doing a little bit of testing right now. I should be on Twitch. Looks like I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I'm just going to possibly jump back into that Discord today, do some debates. If not, if we can't find anyone for debates, I'm also just like taking vegan questions and stuff like that. So maybe a bit of a chill live stream potentially. Let me just start trying to get this stuff worked out. And just let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Just making sure this is all working. All right. Loud and clear? Awesome. Cool, cool. Ah, shit. So I thought I could... All right, so I'm streaming on Restream. I thought I could invite people into this room, but I guess not. That sucks. All right, so if I do this, I'm going to have to do it on Discord. So... All right, how is everyone doing today? I was going to go on live earlier, and then I saw that Gary Yourofsky was on George's live stream, and I was like, well, I'm clearly not going to compete with that, so I decided to just postpone till lunchtime here. But yeah, let's see if we can drop into that Discord chat, see if there's anything interesting going on. What's up, Efrendo? Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Ultimo. T, Vegan Heretic. What's up? Yeah, so I was just telling people this is my first time multi-streaming, so I'm on Twitch right now. I have no idea how Twitch works. I just figured I'd multi-stream and see what's up. Gonna be trying to do some debates. If we can't find anyone, then we will just take questions and stuff. So let me go pop into this room over here.
Together. Just because he's not got a hat on.
God damn it, boy.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah, he's small.
How goes it?
Pretty good.
He needs to like put
We're
his,
just
like,
looking at Chip in the chat. I just saw Chip shirtless for the first time. I knew he was big, but like, god damn, boy.
Dude, he's ripped. Yeah, he is jacked.
he should do like a flex photo for his PFP, just like Val does. Flex those ones, you know.
It's a good strategy, because that immediately like it takes all the wins out of the sales of the protein though.
Exactly.
We should get VG in here, and then do Chip, and then do Val, and just have them like all fucking get on here all at once. And
Flexathon? Yeah, vegan flexathon, sure.
That could even be like a fucking, like we could even do a stage event of that.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's a good idea.
Just fucking a vegan Olympia.
Like, or just like a stage like vegan gains. I don't know what to call it. Like,
Vegan Gains Challenge.
yeah, vegan gains challenge, or like, protein though. I don't know, destroying the protein myth or something. I don't know.
Like it.
Is anyone here not vegan? Summer. Love
That's what I'm
you.
looking for.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I used to be vegan a long time ago.
You did?
But-
To be.
Why did you go vegan originally?
Yeah. It was for the environment, but
Gotcha.
like the consumption of meat and the industrialization of meat, it was. I've read it that it was kind of bad for the environment, so that's what motivated it initially. Yeah, mostly that.
So what do you understand veganism to be? Like if you were to define veganism?
I mean, I'm not really here to debate. I know that you have the moral high ground on that point. Simply just became untenable for me for my kind of lifestyle. That's just what happened.
Why do you think that we have the moral high ground? Just curious.
No, I mean not in a negative sense.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
trying
I
to
don't mean
say
that. I'm just
negative.
wondering. Like, I'm actually just asking a question. Like, why do you think we have the moral high ground? What about it?
Oh, I mean, like I know, like the suffering from that comes out from farming in general, and the how would you say it? The pollution that farming and animal husbandry produces is kind of bad. If one goes vegan, that person doesn't contribute to that system, and that's better, morally speaking.
Hello, guys. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, for sure.
So,
And why did it become untenable in your life?
After a while, I was surrounded by people that weren't vegan or vegetarian, so it was kind of hard. Like, for example, if you had a social outing, you would be the vegan one, and you wouldn't be able to. You have to like make special accommodations for me, so people tended to like not invite me to stuff or sort of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was more of a social problem, and that's it. That's mostly it.
Yeah, I mean,
Also,
I think that is the hard part about being vegan, actually. I think a lot of people think that it's going to be like you can't find food, or it's super inconvenient or expensive, and I just like hadn't really found any of that to be true. But I do think that there is definitely some social pressure put against you there for sure. Did you ever try to look for like vegans in your area, or are you in a spot that has vegans?
yeah, I do. I'm not really in a spot. I live in a more traditional environment. I wouldn't know how to describe it. I do not live in the English-speaking world. So, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just put maybe like a little pressure on that. Like, do you know what actually happens to animals? Because I know you said it was primarily for the environment, and I think that like even if animals were not sentient, I think going plant-based for the environment is like would be enough. But they are of course sentient. So do you know anything about like what actually happens to these animals? Like, what animals do you currently eat?
I mean, right now I just eat whatever. I do not like.
Like you eat like pigs and cows and chickens and
Yeah.
all of them. Yeah. Do you know what happens? Like how we get like from a baby pig to them on your plate? Do you know that process?
More or less, yes.
Yeah. So, like, do you know how they come into existence? The pigs?
Sorry?
Do
Come
you know-
again?
Sorry, do you know how the pigs come into existence?
I mean, not specifically.
Right. So we're not getting them from the wild, right? We're like bringing them into existence. Yeah. So, I mean, in order to do that, we basically breed them. So that typically involves us like getting hands-on with that breeding. That like both in like the collection of the semen and also in then like inserting that semen into like a female pig. And so like right from the jump, just the fact that these pigs even exist at all in the farming system sort of means that we have to reproductively exploit them, or maybe sexually exploit them, you might say. And then, you know, when they are babies, do you know that we like cut off their tails and teeth? Have you heard about that? Do you know why we might do that?
Yeah, because keeping them in constrained environments might create problems.
Yeah. So
if you leave, yeah.
So they'll start actually biting and cannibalizing each other because of that.
Yeah.
We also, with while they're babies, we'll actually like cut a slit in their scrotum and rip their testicles out. Do you know why we do that?
Man, beef are so delicious. Oh my gosh.
Do you know why we might do that?
I mean, I understand that. The problem, I'm not like telling you that you're wrong.
No, I don't think you are.
More of
I don't think you are, and I just want to say that I don't think you're telling me that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I think a lot of
I'm
times
just
it's.
eating a chicken right now. Chicken's so tasty. Oh.
Can someone mute that guy?
Yeah. Can we stop, or else we'll just kick you? Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'm not even saying that you're saying that I'm wrong. I think that a lot of times what happens is like it's in the abstract, it's easy to say these things are wrong and to dismiss them. And I think it's easier to not connect and then like align those sort of values with our behaviors. Like it sounds like in psychology there's like beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors. And it sounds like your beliefs and attitudes are aligned with veganism. So veganism is kind of like the rejection of exploitation of animals, their commodity status, their objectification. I would even say their slavery. And so it sounds like animals are in your moral scope. You're thinking about them as beings that deserve to be treated well and deserve maybe not to be used at all. So like those are your attitudes and your beliefs. Like you believe that, and it sounds like maybe you even hearing about this, it sounds like you have the attitude towards it like, ooh, that's bad, that's gross, right? But then there's this final piece of psychology, right, which is your behavior. And the reason I get into specifics is because I think in the abstract, it's very easy for your beliefs and your attitude to change. But I think it's much harder for your behavior to change. And I think grappling with the specifics and grappling with the concrete can help you get there. And so like when I'm telling you, and I don't mean to be gruesome for gruesome's sake, I really don't.
No, I do understand what you're trying to do something like this, because you're trying to put the image that happens actually in reality in my head, something that usually I would be able to simply push to the side, because I'm not the one doing that. I'm not the one killing animals, not the one processing meat. I'm not the one doing that. So I can push it to the side because it's something that you just find in the supermarket, you pick it up, and that's what everyone does. But I do understand why you're trying to do that, and just to put the entire idea of what happens really in my mind again.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And so that's why I tell people these things. And I think it's also like, it's sort of important too to understand like sort of the trivial reasons why we do that stuff. Like, so when I'm talking about them like ripping the testicles out, right? The reason we do that primarily is, well, partially to like limit their breeding, but it's primarily because they'll taste worse if we don't do that. So it's like one of these things that has a very direct, like a very direct, cruel, super harmful, one of the worst things that I think, like, especially I think if you're a guy, you can relate, like that of the list of things you wouldn't want to happen to you, that's got to be at the top. You know what I mean? And this is happening to them on every size farm. This happens on giant farms. This happens on local farms. I've like looked at these YouTube videos of these small holdings farmers, these are pig farmers who have, I don't know, maybe 10, 20, 30 pigs. Maybe even less in some instances, like even in homesteaders. And they all do this, and they do it without anesthetic. And you can even find, the pig farmers saying things like, there's no way to do pig farming without doing this. Like one guy is literally on camera saying that. And so it's like this stuff is all just like part and parcel. Like it's stuff that we truly can't get away from if we are going to continue to like use these pigs and eat them. And sorry, just one last thing, and we won't talk anymore about what specifically happens to pigs, but do you know how most of them are killed, typically?
I would assume that it's the same process that happens with bovines, like using nail guns, I think.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that's what I thought too. That's like a very common, like the captive bolt gun that shoots through the head. So shooting them, sometimes people will shoot them with that, or I believe a gun, but that is by far the minority. I think it's like 5% or less. The majority, 80 to 90%, the pigs are actually killed in gas chambers. So they're stuffed typically 1 or 2 at a time and then lowered into a gas chamber. It's high concentration CO2, and it sort of forms an acidic compound with all their wet tissues. So it burns their like lungs, nose, throat. Just if you watch the videos, it can only be described as like agonizing pain. And then they get stunned technically. So they're not technically dead at that point. And at that point, then they're typically hung up by their legs and have their throats slashed open. But
well, isn't that better than just straight up slashing their throats while they're alive?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're like what I try to think about there is like, well, what would I rather have done? Would I rather be gassed and then have my throat slashed open, or would I rather have my throat slashed open? I don't know. I would rather just neither. I would rather you didn't breed me into existence to like do one of those things, basically. But yeah, I from watching the videos, the gassing looks more torturous than having one's throat slit, I would say. If I had to pick between two nightmare hell scenarios, I think I actually might just take the throat slitting.
But like, isn't the gas gonna make him pass out? Like, because the CO2 makes you pass out. And
yeah, I can provide.
Yeah,
I can just pull up Dominion, and then they can see for themselves.
Yeah, I would just the videos, and there are at this point endless videos. Like multiple people have gone into multiple countries, multiple facilities, and looked at gas chamber footage. And I think nothing I say here will convince you more than watching like 20 seconds of that, because it is truly hellish. It is one of the worst things I've ever seen, like out of anything I've ever seen, not just in animal agriculture. So
you can watch the stream as to answer your questions to see what you would prefer.
Yeah, it is truly horrifying. I can't. Oh, actually, I was gonna say that made me go vegan, but that's not true. I actually went vegan before having seen any of the videos. I think I only watched those after I had gone vegan, but I was like barely vegan at that point. I think after I watched the videos, that's kind of what turned me into an activist. Like the arguments convinced me. I was like, these arguments are sound. I'm kind of lying to myself. But after I watched the videos, I was like, oh, fuck, I probably just not participating in this isn't enough for me. I probably actually need to get out there and like explain to people why this is so atrocious. Yeah.
Have you ever tried beef?
I was not vegan for 33 years of my life. Yeah, so like, again, like this is the thing, is that most vegans are intimately familiar with the non-vegan side of this equation. Like there was times in my life where I would just eat like a whole packet of bacon. Like that was my whole meal. Like I would just take a bunch of bacon, throw it in a skillet, and then eat it. So yeah, like intimately familiar with eating animals, and I like the taste of them. I like the convenience of them, I guess. So yeah, I've been there. I've done that, and I can 100% say that yeah, as humans in the modern day, we are far more biased towards viewing animals as objects than viewing them as individuals, just because of the constant marketing and really the constant social pressure that we experience. the original person I was talking to, kind of wanted to get back. Are you still here?
You're talking to me, or
Yeah. You. Sorry. Yeah.
Mm.
The other people kind of jumped in there. I
okay.
think we were kind of talking about like making it concrete, you know. So, because you said you had been vegan, or you were like eating plant-based diet primarily for the environment.
Yeah, I tried to be vegan for roughly 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
more or less, and then I switched to ovo-vegetarian diet, and then after some years I quit.
Mm-hmm.
But I switched because the time I switched, I did it so because I got some blood work done and I was low on certain vitamins that were with the diet that I had, so I just switched that. Decided to introduce some animal products in my diet to fix that.
Yeah. Now, if you had a way to fix that without eating the animals, would you be interested in that? Would you be open to that?
I did at the time. I considered it, but when I was vegetarian for that period of time, I wasn't really like.
Sorry, we're getting a lot of background noise from someone on there.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I can hear you again.
I mean, I wasn't like in charge of what was cooked in the household. Like, I still lived with my parents.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
I didn't have a lot of control of what I needed.
Okay. You do now, though?
No, I still live with them.
Okay. Do you buy your own food or anything like that?
I could buy my own food and then just cook for myself, but I just do not do that.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I would say is I would think about this from the victim's perspective, right? Like if it was you, getting sorry again for the image. If it was you getting your testicles removed or in the gas chamber, would you want someone like you to be like, okay, I'll take this little extra time to buy that food, to get my vitamins and stuff in order and all that?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, no, and there isn't really about it's. I wouldn't know how to explain it. I mean, I think I've already explained it. It's not a matter of morality or even changing a perspective. It's more a matter of convenience.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's the question, right? Is that convenience worth more than them suffocating in gas chambers? I guess. Not to put too fine a point on it.
I suppose.
You think it is?
I mean, even if I do say that is wrong, if I still take part in it, it doesn't matter what I say.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's a good point, is that you can have that belief, but if you're not acting on it. So you clearly have that that gap there, I would say. Yeah, I don't know, it sounds like you agree, and it sounds like that what is happening is terrible, and that that aligning your behaviors with your beliefs would be better. I don't know. I guess I don't know what else to say there. I would say, there are resources that can help you. If it is, I know that there's the social aspect that's tough too. And there's a lot of good vegan communities online and things like that. So, I mean, you could come to places like this, listen to more debates, things where you can chat with other people. So if you're the only vegan in your hometown and you don't know any other vegans, I imagine it's hard because there's never anyone to vent to talk to about, your beliefs and stuff like that. And so, if there truly is no community where you live, I would say that online communities, there's a lot of good ones there. But yeah, I mean, you know, as I say, I can only put so fine a point on it, right? Is that like, I think you know that like this convenience and you know, the convenience of not having to go out and buy your own food rather than whoever in your house is buying the food, you know, it sounds like you know that is not equivalent of what is happening in these places. You could also, I mean, I know you've done it before. You could also try Challenge 22. There might be stuff in there that you didn't know, perhaps about nutrition and stuff. Mm-hmm. The one thing I always recommend, this sometimes will split the room, but I always recommend just taking a vegan multivitamin. I think it's a really good way to just like plug up any potential nutritional holes that you might have. I take a multivitamin personally. It's pretty cheap. You know, you can get them for, at this point, quite cheap. So that's something I would always recommend. Take a vegan multivitamin so that you don't get into this spot where your vitamins and minerals are low. And then while you're taking that, you can sort of slowly learn more about nutrition and what it is that you need to eat. But yeah, as I say, I don't know what else to say there. I would watch Dominion, and I would check out Challenge 22. Yeah.
What is Challenge 22?
So Challenge 22 is basically...
Do you want me to post Challenge 22?
Yeah, if you can, that'd be awesome. But basically what it is, it's a 22-day challenge that just, you go vegan for 22 days to basically see how it integrates in your life in a practical way. So they also provide nutritionists on there for free. So if you ever have any nutrition questions, you can just ask them. And it walks you through, I believe it does like 22 days of even like the whole meals are totally planned out for you. So like for breakfast, you could eat this, for lunch, you could eat this. Obviously you can deviate as much as you want, but if you need it to be super cookie cutter and have everything laid out perfectly for you, boom, you're good. And then, yeah, of course, like I said, with the nutritionist there to help you and field questions and things like that. So that can kind of...
thanks.
Yep, for sure. Sure.
I'm vegetarian for 8 years, so like
Okay.
it's kind of hard to be vegan where I live because there are basically no vegan products, you know, and it's quite expensive. So like it's pretty hard for me to switch, you know, even though I agree with your arguments and, you know, I'm in the vegan community, but it's very hard to switch and have something nutritious, you know.
So you're vegetarian, what do you eat? Eggs or eggs and dairy or?
Yeah, like mostly dairy, not much eggs because how they're like, you know, but there's not much like dairy replacement because like, for example, soy milk or like any sort of like nut milk is like so expensive and there's like no way I can afford that in any way. And I don't feel good about it, but you know, I cannot switch to a plant-based milk because it's very expensive.
Yeah, and so I understand that. Like, and the thing is, just so people who are listening in the chat who maybe, you know, aren't vegans, generally speaking, eating a plant-based diet is cheaper. And you can make a very affordable plant-based diet. Now, I appreciate that wherever you are, particularly the soy milk is, you know, more expensive than the cow's milk. But I just want to highlight that for everyone, just so people understand that you know, there have been studies done. There have been studies done and things like that.
I'm sorry, but like mostly in the West, like I live in the Middle East, you know, there's basically no vegan products, and it's just, that's why I was asking you if like CO2 is like, I think it's less cool because people kill animals here in the most brutal. I kid you not. My neighbor killed a cat with a broom because cats are unlucky. That's how backwards people are in here, you know? So that's why I was asking you, like, if CO2 is less cool, because in here, everybody's so backward. Like, I'm the only person, everybody makes fun of me in university. Like, I'm the butt of the joke because I'm vegetarian. That's how bad things are here. So, like, I know it might be cheaper in the West, but in the Middle East, it's basically impossible to get your hands on these things.
Yeah, and that's fine. So let's talk about that, because I'm not saying that you're not telling the truth. I totally believe you. And you know what you say even about cats and stuff, like everyone, the entire world. The problem is, and this is what veganism is trying to address, views animals essentially as objects, right? They see animals as objects to be exploited. Animals are here. People view it as animals are here for us, right? Vegans say animals are here with us, not for us, right? And that's why veganism is against the exploitation, commodification, objectification of animals. So you said dairy primarily, right? Do you know what happens? Like, do you know how the dairy industry works? And
Yeah,
let me know
cows are
anything you know about
forcibly
it.
impregnated.
What's that?
Well, I know the cows are forcibly impregnated,
Yeah.
and when the babies are born, if they're male, they're slaughtered, and the females, it's a pretty gruesome system, I know, and it's way worse in the Middle East. I see how they do it in the West, and people call that cruel. I'm like, that's way better. I'm not saying I know murder is murder in the end of the day, but there is a degree because in the Middle East, you have a way. I'm sorry, I'm not diverting the conversation. I just want to mention for people who don't know. So they have a haram way of killing an animal, which is basically you slit its throat and you let it bleed out on the street for hours, and it's just twitching, the poor thing. It's twitching, and people do that for any celebrations, birthdays, somebody died, or any celebration. Basically, they do that, and it's just really fucking cruel. So in the dairy industry here, it's probably worse. I have not looked into it, but I know how it's done in the West.
Yeah, for sure.
I can pull up the Mercy Halal slaughter as well.
Awesome, yeah. So for sure. So again, I mean, what I would say here is, right, we're talking about, there's the cow's milk that, includes everything you just said, probably. There's the plant milk that doesn't, but is more expensive. But there's also another option, right? Is that you just don't drink milk. Right? Like, there's other foods you can eat, people live without drinking milk all the time.
Yeah, it could be, but you need a source of calcium at some point, and I did have calcium deficiency at some part of my life, and I can cut it out, but it's just hard to find replacements,
Yeah, and so I mean, this is what I'm saying is that I guess, there are calcium supplements, there are plant foods that are rich in calcium as well, and again, something like Challenge 22 can help you with that. Another good site is Chronometer. It basically is like a journal, a diet journal, essentially. You put in the foods you eat, and it gives you all the nutritional information for them, things like that. But yeah, I guess assuming that you could get your calcium, right? Assuming there was a way to get your calcium, would you say, okay, I'm cutting out milk now?
To ask people that, because the joy of certain things do exist. But if I could access plant-based milk, because I do like having cereal and all of that, yeah, I would definitely cut it out. I'm planning to move out of here so I can have access to better vegan options. So yeah, I would definitely change.
Yeah. So okay, so I heard if you could get plant-based milk, so not just if you could get calcium, but if you could get a plant-based milk replacement, you would switch.
Yeah, I am planning to be vegan, but it's basically impossible where I live.
Yeah, I think.
Where do you live?
I live in Iran.
I think I helped somebody from Iran last night go to. What part of Iran do you live from?
I live in Tehran. There are vegans here, but it's just they're more fortunate to be able to pay for a lot of stuff. I have vegan friends, and I go to vegan restaurants, try to have that kind of stuff.
This is the same argument I've heard before. So when it comes down to paying for it, you would acknowledge that beans, rice, lentils, and other forms of food are cheaper than meat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're buying the vegan milk, that averages out because you're saving money on the other foods. And yes, the plant-based milk might be slightly more expensive, but you're saving money on the cheaper items. And then you get to you'll spend a little bit more on the plant-based milk, but when all is said and done, it equals out to be about the same.
And you can always make your own milk. You can make your own oat milk. Just buy oats and for cheap, and then mix it with water. I've never done it myself, but there's a way to do it, and it's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, but I have no control of what I can buy because I'm not paying for this. My family is, and they're very against for every product that I want to buy, and they're heavily angry every time I want to do something that I am being hollered by my mom because I'm vegetarian for the past 8 years, constantly. like everybody's mad at me and everybody hates because I just decided not to eat meat. So it's not as easy for me to tell them, oh, let me like buy a plant-based milk or make milk. They're gonna just, it's just a very difficult situation. Like they have full control of like whatever happens in my life. So it's not as easy to switch, you know?
Okay, well, we're not trying to make you feel like a bad person or nothing if you're in a really hard situation and stuff, you know. We're just trying to help the animals as much as we can, you know. So hopefully you'll be able to move out of there and do the best you can. And you can always speak up for animals, like, you know, even if you can't eat a plant-based diet entirely yourself, you can always promote it. I know people are making fun of you and stuff. I deal with that a lot too in America. People make fun of me, but you know, you can promote it on the internet, on social media, promote veganism and animal rights and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying my best, you know, like people are in different situation. It's just much tougher in the Middle East to like live this kind of lifestyle, but I am pretty open about it. So I'm just trying my best to lessen the cruelty.
Yeah, and I just want to echo what Chase said. Like, if there is truly some situation where you do not have control over your finances, you cannot control what is bought, right? I mean, that, we get that, right? But we do want to impress upon you, you know, because this is a vegan debate room, we want to impress upon you the severity of the situation and the gravity of it. And, you know, we do want to kind of put that pressure on to really make you really ask yourself, because we don't know, right? We have no idea, only you know. And we want you to really ask yourself, like, do I have to drink this cow's milk, right? Does my family have to buy this for me? Are there other things I could do? And again, like I said, only you will know the answer to that question. But I think that's something where if you truly are motivated, like if you truly want to do this, if you truly understand the gravity of the situation and the plight that animals are in, and you truly don't want to be complicit in it, you'll find a way. And so I think the best we can do is give you resources to find that way. Something like Challenge 22, you know. Someone's asking in chat, do you have anywhere where you state your definition of veganism? Foregone conclusion, yes. So when I talk about veganism, I know everyone wants to use slightly different definitions. I typically say this is, you know, it is that principle that we should live without exploiting animals. I add a little bit to it that, you know, we shouldn't exploit them, we want to not commodify them, and that I think this all comes down from a psychological mindset of objectifying them, fundamentally viewing them as something rather than someone. And so when I'm talking about veganism, that's what I'm talking about. You might also say it's like an abolitionist. It's the analog of an abolitionist for animals, right? So against animal slavery. So that's kind of what I'm talking about whenever I say veganism.
Based definition.
So yeah, we have any other non-vegans? Anyone who wants to chat? Wants to have a friendly conversation?
So how long have you been vegan?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, 5 years. Well, yeah, probably just over 5 years at this point, I would say. So the first.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. What about you?
So I've been for 7 years. I went when I was 21.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, well, say, I mean, you're a much better person than me. It took me 33 years. So. Yeah.
Much better.
So yeah, when I see.
I wouldn't say it's better, you know, like there's a different time.
Yeah.
You know, like different times have different things, you know. We all are vegan at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know.
We are also we're products of our environments, and if you're in a certain environment, it might be harder for it to click for you. Mm-hmm. You might have not had the same experiences as early, so it doesn't necessarily make you a worse person because if you hadn't been, I don't know, sorry, it's too windy to talk, sorry.
Yeah, it's a little.
I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah, it's wild what makes you go vegan and the times you didn't, like, because I think I told the story before, is that my first real thought that was like vegan adjacent was when I was, I think, in high school, and it had just come out that Michael Vick was like dog fighting or whatever. And my dad was just like completely horrified by it. Like, I can't believe, like, what an asshole, he would do dog fighting. And, you know, we're literally at the dinner table eating burgers. And I was like, yeah, but like, we are eating burgers right now. So like, can we really say that much about it? And him and my mom got so mad at me, like ridiculously mad. And keep in mind, I'm not a vegan at this point. I'm just like testing for consistency because like, I just always did that. You know, I was always a bit of a debate bro. And so, you know, there's the degree to which they got angry with me, I just like couldn't understand it. And they shut that conversation down very quickly. And then I didn't really think about it that much. I was like, well, that was weird, you know, but I never had anyone like press back like, well, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be eating that burger then, you know? And so that was my very first interaction with it. And then at some point later down the road, this would have probably been after college for me, I saw a sidewalk chalk activism. And it said something like a pig is as smart as a 3-year-old or a dog or something like that. And it was like, oh, like that was something I never had, you know, thought of non-dog animals, I will say. I never thought of non-dog animals in that way, really. And I remember that my girlfriend and I stopped eating any sort of pig for like a few months. But then, of course, it faded away. Like, because there was no more pressure, you know, there was no social pressure being like, oh, wow. Or like, there was no social pressure, like saying like, no, you shouldn't do that. But there was also no like, wow, you stopped eating pig. That's really good. You know, like when we told our friends that, they were like, oh, okay. Like, you know, and they would like look at you weird. Like no one's going to like cheerlead you for that, basically. And so those were my first sort of like forays into it that I think like planted seeds that took, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years to fully germinate, you know, when I ran into like Earthling Ed years later. But sorry, that's like too much biography, not enough debating.
No, that was cool. I think it can be really helpful to tell our own stories. That is a form of activism.
All right, fair enough.
I had like one, what you call it again, rationalization when I was hearing about veganism, and I was working in a kitchen, and fuck, but it's really here. So, but maybe I should write it down later or talk later.
You're kind of hard to hear.
I don't know what's going on with that background noise, man. It sounds like you're in like a machine shop or something. Let's see. Chat.
How goes it, Silver? I think we're all pretty much vegan except John and Teriyaki. Is what it is? Yeah, Teriyaki and Rosewell.
You guys want to talk about veganism?
Okay. Teriyaki is vegan. Okay, cool. Well met.
Question. Fennec, what the?
Sorry.
Sorry. Just another question about like the balance of like how much you should talk, and is there like a right amount where you know to keep them engaged? Because I often get into like ranting and just lecturing.
Yeah.
Not ranting, but sometimes speaking too much and going into my script.
I think generally the less you speak, the better.
I agree. Yeah.
Especially in like in-person outreach. In this format, it's a little harder because I can't see their reactions, and I also feel more like I'm like broadcasting, and so in some sense, like I'm the show here. And so I tend to talk more here than I would in like street outreach. I don't know if that's the right thing. Generally, when talking to people, I think you want to ask questions more and just let them kind of tell their story. And then like press on that, like when you find their story, you know, because like when you let people talk, they will, if you're paying attention, reveal like their values to you, you know, and it also lets you find common ground with them, you know, like as they're saying, well, I do agree that this is bad. I do agree this is bad. It's like, okay, cool. So we like agree this is bad, you know.
I think I've recognized, like, even with just other people here, is like when questioning, it's very direct, it's very narrow. We don't do what usually you do with like already establishing their values first. We kind of just zone in on the animal ethics, and like we don't allow them to like express what they care about and then show the contradictions. We kind of just go into veganism. I guess that's why.
Yeah, I think there is definitely a different culture online. I think especially on Discord. I don't know that I think that's bad, per se. It doesn't tend to be the way that like I will talk to people. But the thing is, here's the problem. The way I talk to people might be less entertaining. And so like if you have random people scrolling through, like that's why I have it in vertical, is because like on YouTube, it seems like you're getting more views on vertical now because you're getting like more people who have never been exposed to your channel. And so if someone jumps on and someone's like, oh, I think this about dairy and da-da-da-da-da, you know, that might not hook them as well as if like, it's like, what about this? Oh, this, you know, it's that quick back and forth. So they can like in a short amount of time, grab like the contours of the conversation better. And so that might actually be worse from a social media standpoint. I don't know. We'll see. This is my, you know, only my second day live streaming debates like this. So time will tell, I guess. But there's always like, there's always trade-offs, you know, and some of them have to do with like optics and reach.
What's up, Amelia?
And sometimes, I was gonna say real quick, like sometimes people can get defensive if we're just asking them questions. They feel like we're grilling them, you know. So sometimes I'm pretty big on giving a speech, you know, like I'll ask them questions and stuff like that, but I like to tell my personal story and explain the philosophy and show analogies and stuff like that. So there's different types of outreach out there for sure.
Yeah, totally.
What's up, Kanchan?
What is up?
Fine.
Yeah. How's your day going?
Beautiful. What about you?
Yeah, not too bad. I think Debug Your Brain has a few questions too.
Oh, is this
I'm using Discord for the first time for, you know, improving my English.
Oh, okay.
Oh, congrats. Your English is really good.
So I'm not used to it. I have used other social media platforms, but I'm not sure about this, how to use this.
Me too. Discord is like targeted towards a little bit of a younger audience than myself, I think. I got on here and I've just been kind of new myself, so totally understandable. What did you want to chat about?
Maybe we should teach him how to open the chat, the text chat, so you can see pictures and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So do you see? I don't know if we're gonna be able to teach him, but there's a little bubble where it says vegans are better. There's to the right of that is a little icon, a little speech bubble. Do you see that? You can click that.
Yeah, there is. I can see one camera button, then microphone, then chat one. In chat one, there is. There are some videos sent by Felix01.
Okay, cool. So you've seen the text chat.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, go ahead, Debug.
I am watching this video. Somebody has, presented Mercy.
So sorry, what?
Somebody is presenting Exil Battle.
Yeah, so that's a streaming thing. So on Discord, you could share your screen, and so one of our friend here, Axo, is streaming basically halal slaughter. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, that when it is basically for preparing meals after animals, killing animals, like in this way. That is what called slaughtering, I guess.
Killing Justin, animals, you can take over.
So I assume you're not vegan. That's why you're chatting.
No, I'm not vegan.
Okay. And do you know what veganism is? Do you know how vegans typically define that?
I know what vegan is. Vegans are basically which totally doesn't take any sort of feed or food items from animals, like milk as well.
Yeah.
Milk is also included in this category.
Yeah. So that's definitely some of the behaviors associated with veganism. Veganism is a sort of like broader philosophy though. So it basically is the idea that humans shouldn't exploit animals, right? So it basically it says we shouldn't exploit animals, we shouldn't objectify them, commodify them, we shouldn't enslave them. So I think of it kind of as analogous to human slavery. At least in the early 1800s in the United States, there were abolitionists. They said, we think slavery is wrong. We do not think we should be objectifying and enslaving these humans. We want this to end, right? And so that's kind of how I think of veganism, is that same sort of anti-objectification, anti-slavery for animals. Have you ever heard that before?
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, sorry, yeah, who's that?
I see there is, what I feel is that veganism is a kind of ideology.
Yes.
Basically where people have different form. They are from such kind of, geographic, they are from such kind of geography where they doesn't need to depend upon animal products or their food product, basically.
Well, so
if in certain geography we don't have any sort of food product by plants, so in that place for survival, human needs to do these kind of things. They need to go for non-vegetarian.
So let's talk about, I guess, the hypothetical there and then like the actual. So in the case that a human truly cannot survive without exploiting animals in some way, what I typically say is that's not vegans' target audience. Like vegans aren't going into like the wilds of Canada, and finding like indigenous people who are totally removed from society and being like, how dare you hunt that deer, right? So that's typically not going to be vegans' target audience. That's not who we're generally talking to. But in most places in the world, especially if we're on Discord chatting, those places have plant-based options typically. So you eat, I assume you eat all sorts of animals then? Cows, chickens, pigs, any animals you don't eat or?
No, not cows.
Not cows.
But chicken and goats.
Chickens and goats. Okay. No pigs? Okay.
And fishes. Nothing apart from this. I have never tried anything else from these animals.
Gotcha. Do you eat eggs?
Yeah.
Eggs. Okay. Yeah.
Very, general.
So the chickens, right? Do you know how they come into existence?
Yeah. You mean which thing came before, egg or chicken, like that?
Well, like how do we get the chickens, right? Are we going and like grabbing them out of the wild, or is there some other way that we're bringing them into existence?
We can domesticate them as well.
Yeah.
We can treat them. We can have them as a domestic animal as well. Then later on we can eat them.
Right. So with domesticated animals, we are bringing them into existence. So generally, what that involves is that we, the humans, are going in and manually like collecting semen from the male, and then injecting that semen into the female. And sometimes that can be, depending on where you are and depending on the methods, can be a very manual process. Like the human is getting very hands-on with the male chicken and then very hands-on with the female chicken, right? So just to even have these animals to begin with, we're going to be engaging in sexual and reproductive exploitation, right? And remember, veganism is sort of against that exploitation.
Okay.
And so then, so for eggs, for instance, right? When we're breeding chickens, right, we get 50% males, 50% females, right? Yeah. Only females lay eggs. So what do you think happens to those male chicks?
They've been, taken right away and eaten by someone.
So they're not eaten by someone.
A short period of time. Yeah. They will live for a sort of lifespan.
So that's what you would think, right? So, but the thing is that with the egg-laying hens and like the meat chickens, they're different breeds. So with the egg-laying chickens, the females lay eggs, the males don't, but the males also won't grow quick enough to be profitable in any sort of way to sell for their body parts. So on day one that they're bred into existence, they're basically put onto a conveyor belt and dropped into a giant blender. So one-day-old chicks just shredded alive in these things called macerators. In some countries, they don't do that. They'll suffocate them in a bag. In some countries, they will, I believe, gas them also. And I've even seen places where they would just like straight up burn them, you know, just like set them on fire. So even before we get to the actual, you know, chickens who are laying those eggs, we've already got that sexual exploitation, and we've already got chicks being ground alive, right? So then the chickens that actually lay eggs, right? These female chickens. What do you think happens to them, right? What does it look like where they're living?
Like kind of jail kind of thing.
But yeah, very cramped. Typically very cramped conditions. Oftentimes they're in battery cages, which are like just cramp them into like, I can't even describe it. It's just like cramming as many chickens into like a box as you possibly can. In some places where they have better welfare standards, they're crammed into a giant barn where they have about, you know, they have about like this much room to walk around, about the size of a sheet of paper.
Yeah, I can get it. Then like for maximizing the profit, they will use every inch, square inch of their area to maximize their profit. So they will take as more as possible to accumulate that place.
Right. And again, that's because
chickens
we're objectifying them, right? We see them as objects. So for us, humans look at them as vending machines for eggs, not as individuals who are sentient, who like want to live.
Them as, we are not saying that we are not that much merciful for them. Like we are seeing them as like cold drink bottles kind of thing.
Yeah.
We are not saying they are actual living being. We are unable to see that.
Yes. Yeah, and part of the reason we're unable to see
the veganism come into the picture.
Yep. Yeah, and so those chickens then, they will lay eggs typically for about 2 years, but then their egg production will decline. And so at that point, those chickens end up getting killed. So some people think, oh, well, like, what's the big, you know, I'm eating the eggs. That's not killing the animal. Except it is still sexually exploited, still killing lots of animals for, you know, the eggs.
I get it. It is like one female became 18-year-old, then she gave birth to multiple children. After a certain point, if she is not able to give a birth to new generation, so it will be get killed like this.
Right. And so like the thing is, you know, we know that chickens, they can reason, you know, they can problem solve, they have social lives, they can feel pain, they can feel sadness, you know, they can be traumatized, all these things. And so when you eat eggs, you are contributing to that, right? You are at least complicit in that, and at the very least in a symbolic way, you know. And so vegans are saying...
Yeah, I'm getting that. Like companies, what they pretend to say or what they usually advertise them like, these are not fused eggs. You are not killing anyone. These eggs are not, you know, there is no possibility of any animal coming out of this egg because they are not, you know, infused with the sperms of the male chicken.
Yeah. And so they have
rooster. What do you call them?
Rooster is male chicken. Yeah. And so like, and that's kind of the thing is that like you have these companies and they'll say things like, oh, they're free range, they're they're well protected or well fed or whatever. But these things are part and parcel. Like what that is that's big companies lying to us because they know that the more people who know, the less people are going to buy their products, right? And so vegans, we're trying to shine a light on that, right? We're trying to say, hey, look, this is what you're actually paying for. This is what is actually happening, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. How do you feel after hearing that?
One of my friends was also vegan. So I saw him, he doesn't like that cheese as well. Not cheese, paneer. You know paneer?
Yeah.
You know paneer?
I know paneer, yeah.
Yeah, so he also not take he always deny for paneer as well, paneer kind of products as well. So then I at that point I was not aware that if we are taking milk out of cows or like goat, so we are not domesticating them. We are not giving them place at our house. We are forcing them.
Yeah, we're
By force we are for our greed we are taking all those things. We are doing everything possible to maximize the output. In this case, that is milk, the byproduct from the cow, and we are utilizing that for our own interest.
Correct. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's the entire animal agriculture industry. And I mean,
the thing is that I have not given a thought in this. You
haven't heard this before. You said.
Direction. So now when I am thinking, I'm diving, more thinking about this, and more I'm going to realize that what are the things, how these things are related.
Yeah, for sure. And that's basically the question here is like, do you want to keep contributing to this system, right? Or do you want to deconstruct in your mind the idea that animals are here for us and recognize that animals are actually here with us?
What are your views into this, in this concept of veganism?
Those are my views. Yeah, that's again, I think that the strongest, to me, the strongest analogy is the analogy to human slavery. Now, the human slavery I know about is the human slavery in the United States. I know there was slavery all over the world, but that's the one I'm most familiar with. And there was a similar thing that happened there. Like we vegans, whenever we're talking with people, oftentimes they'll give us a bunch of excuses that don't really add up. And if you look at the excuses that people make for not being vegan, they'll say like, it's normal, it's natural, it's necessary. Those are the big three that you always hear. Normal, natural, necessary, right? This isn't true, and to the degree that it is true, it doesn't really matter. Like the fact that something's natural doesn't make it good. You know what I mean? Like there's like viruses and pathogenic bacteria are natural, lions will like grape each other. I guess I have to say that on the YouTube. They'll grape each other and kill their own babies. That's natural. That doesn't mean it's good, right? Something being normal also doesn't mean it's good. There were lots of things that were normal throughout history that are horrible, right? It's normal that women didn't have the right to vote for a while. That's bad. It was normal that we kept slaves for a while. That was bad, And so things being normal and natural is not relevant morally. And then the third claim is typically that it's necessary. But we have loads of evidence that you can live healthy on a plant-based diet. I mean, basically everyone in this chat is a vegan. And like I say to people, like you can look at like, I would flex normally. I'm bigger than the average bear, but we've got some like absolutely jacked vegans probably in the chat right now if Chip or Val is here. So there are just like very, very fit vegans. So it's not, it being normal or natural is irrelevant. The fact that it's necessary is not true. But the thing that's interesting about those things,
like we have all those plant-based food everywhere possible. Like we talk about paneer right now, so we have alternative tofu. Have you heard of tofu?
Oh yeah, I eat tofu all the time, man. Like every day.
Tofu, it is derived from that soya bean. I don't know the process, but I know that it is derived from that soya bean. And there is soya milk also that similar taste like cow's milk.
Yep.
We can add flavor to that to make how as we like. We can add the flavors.
Yeah. 100%.
As far as our taste.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, and a lot of times flavors, even with cooked dishes, a lot of the flavors come from the spices and the salt and things like that, And so, like, you can...
Do you like spices?
Yeah. Do you like spices?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, so I love, all kinds of food, And especially after I went vegan, my palate expanded a lot. Because, in the U.S., it's like... it's very much like burgers and French fries. It's like a big chunk of animal flesh, and then like some grain or carb beside it is like a very common meal. But yeah, definitely since I went vegan, like my palate has expanded, and I eat lots of different cuisines, from all over the world and stuff. And yeah, I definitely, like people say, it's like I didn't realize how many like interesting and really tasty flavor combinations there were, until I dove into it more. But the one thing I was saying there too is that the reason I tie it back to that normal, natural, necessary is that these things were also said during slavery. Whenever the states in the United States, during the sort of antebellum South, these were the same arguments that were made then. So like all the arguments we see for veganism were reflected in those arguments for human slavery. And so the point I try to make there with people is that we have these similar cognitive structures in our minds, right? We have these similar excuses that we go to when we're justifying oppression. And I think it's important to look back and see that those same mistakes, we're making them now, because I feel like that can give us some perspective and make us realize how sort of, I don't know how mean I want to be, but how sort of inane those sorts of arguments are, or how airy and not substantive those sorts of arguments are, and just point us that like, if we could, I think most people agree that if they could have gone back in time and stopped slavery 50 years earlier or 100 years earlier, they would be like, yeah, of course I'd do that. So what I'm talking to people now, people in the future will look back and be like, wow, why didn't the world go vegan sooner? Why did it take us this long to get here? And so I'm trying to talk to people and impress that upon them so they can say, oh yeah, it didn't take that long. I'm going to go vegan today. I'm going to withdraw my complicity in the suppression right now.
Yeah, it is easy for me. Like, I'm from India. I have not at all any problem from going totally vegan.
Awesome.
But the problem I see, I will change myself. I have no problem. From today, I will think twice, thrice before considering any non-veg, first of all. Going entirely vegan is not that much possible, but I will try. Because I'm seeing what kind of things are going behind all those things.
For sure, yeah. And
but
again,
what I see,
go ahead,
but
sorry.
the main problem, what I think here is, like if we are, telling everyone, we are educating them like why vegan is this much great. The main problem I think here is it in some sort of in culture as well, and from the beginning, many, like I am 23-year-old currently, but I have never thought and never given a thought about this animal slavery kind of thing. I have never think in this direction. So it is pretty much very difficult to me to go back in time and think what I have done wrong.
No, I know.
So now if I have a child and he is consuming these kind of products, non-veg products for 20 years, then it is very much difficult for him to understand, like whatever he has done till now, it was very kind of a bad thing. He has done very what we call that thing. So yeah, very evil thing kind of. So how he will came up with that, how he will change himself after that point, it is a difficult thing for that.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Sorry, go ahead.
At some point we have whole bunch of community. They will not listen to us and in any manner.
Yes, so I totally agree, and I think that is really the big psychological friction that we have, and that I had it too. Yeah. It's like whenever you're about to change, you're like, wait, so if I'm changing, and I'm saying this is the right thing to do, that means I was doing the wrong thing for X number of years, and that is definitely a big psychological hurdle. I think you can be forgiving of yourself. The important thing is that you go vegan now, right? You can't change what's in the past. The important thing is moving forward. What are you going to do, right? And many of us, like you said, like you've never even thought about this before, right? A lot of people don't think about it. They've never been confronted about it. No one's ever talked to them or showed them footage or anything like that. And so when the entire culture is pushing that way,
where this is coming from.
Yeah. And so, I mean, culture and industry, right? The combination of culture and big money and industry.
If you have never seen a cow and you are directly drinking, milk for like, say, 10 years, it is very difficult that you have never seen a cow till you are,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, most people haven't even seen the animals that we farm. Yeah, many people have never even seen one. So to connect with them and understand that they are an individual is totally abstract.
Yeah.
And that's one reason too. I tell people, like, watch some videos. You don't have to like watch 2 hours of a whole video, but like someone might link like Dominion in the chat. Just watch the first 15 minutes of Dominion, right? Or even watch some.
Then you have to know that how disgusting it is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And what is wrong in this world.
So it sounds like you're pretty open. I mean, I think we can kind of probably wrap it up here. If we had a sort of resource to give you, would that be interesting to you? Would you check that out? Try to start going vegan?
Sure.
Awesome. Yeah, can someone just drop challenge 22 in the chat then? Sorry, I've got like 50 screens open because I'm trying to watch both of my streams. I've got a Twitch stream, everyone.
Oh.
I don't think anyone's watching right now.
Okay. You have a YouTube channel.
I do have a YouTube channel, yeah. Yep. It's called Debug Your Brain. Yep.
So you have debugging. You are debugging only this thing, vegan kind of thing only.
Yes, I mostly focus on veganism, but woven throughout my videos, I will sometimes touch on just more broad psychological concepts. But yeah, it's primarily focused on veganism, but like with a focus on psychology, I would say.
Can I just quickly say something?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
If you don't want to watch the 2-hour video, there's a 3-minute movie one as well. So that's pretty good.
Oh, that's probably better. Yeah. Good point.
Great.
Don't let me distract you. That's all I want to say.
Oh no, that's fine. I think we were kind of wrapping up there. I was going to see if there were any other non-vegans who wanted to
There's
chat.
somebody in chat. Dark Cave, you wanna chat?
Sure, why not? I'd like to.
Also, just one other thing. I can also let some other. I can keep going here. We can maybe like split it a bit, but like I don't want to, because I am in your Discord. I don't want to monopolize all of the conversation if other people also want to jump in.
It's not a monopoly, man. We just.
I think you need a consensus. Is if another vegan wants to jump in, they will definitely say like, "Hey, can they jump in and talk a little bit?"
Okay, cool.
But for now, like, keep going, bro.
Okay, cool.
It means we don't have to listen to Axel all the time. So
You're quite quiet, Philip.
So someone wanted to chat. Sorry. I admittedly am also on my work computer right now, so I'm checking my work stuff as well. All right, what's up?
Yeah, all good. Is my microphone working or what?
Yeah, you're a little low volume-wise for me.
Yes, hold on a second.
Justin, you know you can increase that volume for yourself as well.
Oh no, I'm a dummy.
Yeah, just,
is it okay right now?
I can hear you
it's
now.
better. Right click on them and you have user
Okay,
volume.
now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, my
Thank you.
one question is, animals have life, right?
Yes, they are alive.
I know what's happening.
And what about plant?
Plants are also alive.
So if animal killing is bad, then plant killing is bad also, isn't it?
Plant doesn't cry, no? I guess.
So
okay, so plant doesn't cry, it's not visible.
No. So
and animal cry is visible. Plant does have cell, it's visible as you can see.
So the issue is not life, the issue is sentience, right? So we know that animals are sentient. We don't know that plants are sentient. Plant sentience is anywhere from almost certainly not sentient, or I would say certainly not sentient to almost certainly not sentient. So sentience is really the value proposition that vegan. So earlier, like I'll just tell you the definition I use of veganism real quick.
Okay,
So
now.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you the definition of veganism real quick. All right. So the definition I use of veganism.
No.
Yes, the definition I use.
I didn't ask for the definition.
That's fine. I'm talking to everyone.
I have some question. I also have some questions.
Yeah. So the definition of veganism that I'm operating under is that animals should not be exploited by us, right? They should not be objectified, commodified. They should not be enslaved. But this is coming from what I would say is like a sentientist perspective, right? The reason we care about animals is because they have sentience. In other words, they can feel pain, joy. They can have positively valenced experiences and negatively valenced experiences. And that's why we care about them. And so that's why we would say that things that happen to animals matter, whereas things that happen to plants don't intrinsically. Sorry, who's the user? Let me just take him back off mute.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to jump in.
Sorry,
to help,
someone
I
fell
wanna
once you
jump in
jumped in,
just to help the conversation flow.
Mhm.
So Dark Ave, since Debug told you something about what veganism meant, could you explain to me what they said in your own voice?
Oh, but I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. So he explained.
Wait. Okay, before we continue this conversation, it is very important to know what you're debating, because if you're just debating for the sake of, because if you're debating for the sake of debating, then there's no point with talking to you. You need to actually understand what you're trying to argue against, right?
Okay.
Okay. So, do you know what you're arguing against? Do you know what veganism is?
Veganism. Right.
Yeah, but what is veganism?
It's like killing or something about your sentiments or something. Really.
No.
Okay. Now explain.
So would you? Okay.
In some simple words, I really don't want that much of description.
No. Because Dark Cave, I understand that you want to talk to us about it, but first we need you to understand what it is that you're trying to debate, right?
Okay, enlighten me.
Okay, Debug, could you say it again?
Say it again?
Just
okay, yeah. So
but
yeah,
in simple and shortly.
Sure. Vegans are against the exploitation of animals because animals are sentient, and sentience is where we would profess that value comes from, right? Sentience means you can have positive and negative experiences. A rock cannot have positive and negative experiences. A toaster cannot have positive and negative experiences. A plant cannot have positive and negative experiences.
Plants don't. Are you sure?
Sorry, what was that? Say again?
Plant doesn't have sentient. What did you just say? Experience or something.
Right. Plants are not sentient. So colloquially, I would say I am sure. If we're talking in a more philosophical sense, I would say the probability that they are sentient is incredibly low.
Probability.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Wait, did you understand what they said? Okay.
Billie Eilish is vegan.
Because like this is going to be very important, because if you're only selectively picking certain words that they said, it's going to be very difficult to even have a conversation with you.
Okay.
Understood. So whenever someone says, "Are you sure?" I think we can be certain of very, very, very few things. Absolutely certain in a philosophical sense. But if we're talking in a more just colloquial sense, like if you're like, "Oh, are you sure that you're not a dragon or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure I'm not a dragon." Right? In that same sense, I'm sure that plants aren't sentient. Or I would say maybe even more scientifically, there is not any sort of scientific consensus among experts on plants and sentience that plants are sentient, right? And there is a consensus for animals. In fact, there have been 2 declarations of animal sentience. Does that make sense?
Okay, little bit. Not that much. Now, I have some question about the plant and animal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what about the bugs?
Yeah, I mean, it seems, I'm not super clued in here, but it seems like most insects are probably sentient. Or at least there are some insects that are sentient, and arachnids and things like that.
Okay. To grow a plant, you need to kill some bugs, right?
When we grow plants, we typically kill bugs, I will say. I don't know that you have to, but we typically do.
We typically?
Typically we do.
We typically, okay. So doesn't it mean that you kill animals?
Yeah, there are animals killed just by existing. So as a person, forget anything to do with veganism. Like my house, when it was built, there were animals killed. When I drive my car, I'm probably killing some number of animals. When I walk, I probably kill some number of invertebrates. So yeah, anything that...
Can I share something?
It's all about big animals and small animals.
No.
Hello.
You have to kind of, as I said, you have to understand what we're talking about.
Right. So
Because
this
if
is
you don't understand, yeah.
This is why. So the analogy I draw is with like human slavery, right? So, you know, back in the 1800s, right? The point was to abolish the exploitation, commodification, objectification, right? Most people agree that ending human slavery was good. But when we ended human slavery, the people who were abolitionists, it's not like everything they did never hurt humans. Like the products they purchased, the things they did, in some way humans will get hurt through some sort of, like even then, like with like, you know, farming the fields or whatever, like humans are going to get hurt farming fields. Humans are going to get hurt as we're building a car or something. So when I buy a car, there's some number of humans who are hurt by that. When I drive a car, there's some number of accidents, you know. And so, you know, imagine someone coming to an abolitionist in the 1800s and they're like, I really think we should abolish slavery. I don't think we should be commodifying humans and exploiting them. And someone's like, yeah, but the products you buy also have some number of human deaths. So like, let's just keep slavery rolling. You know, like that just wouldn't have made any sense. Problems have to have some scope that has some sort of pragmatic aspect to it, right? Vegans aren't saying that we're solving every problem in the world. We're giving a very low bar, I would say, for ethical activity.
Yes, you go. No problem. Thanks for the saving meat for us.
Sure.
I don't think he understood
I feel
anything.
like this is a dishonest interlocutor.
Yeah, I would. It seems like that, doesn't it?
He's just picking and shoot. He's like literally not listening.
He's just
and
giving me a
one
lot
concept.
of huge description. I'm talking about common sense.
I think, Doug, the difference is he uses a more complex way of explaining things, because
I don't like that much complex way of explaining.
Okay, would you like a very simple? Would you like a very simple explanation? I can tell you a very simple explanation.
Yeah, keep it simple. Sorry.
I want to give explanation. Can I give?
Can I just quickly jump in for just like a few minutes?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I gotta
Doug,
get a drink
do you
anyway,
think-
so.
Yep. Doug, do you think abusing animals is okay? Let's say for fun. I just want to abuse animals for fun.
Never.
Do you think it's okay?
Okay, what? I didn't hear you.
Do you think me abusing animals for fun, is that okay?
For fun? Why? Why should you?
Because I like it.
For eating?
I really like it. No.
For eating? You
For
can.
what?
For what purpose?
Can you answer the question? He asked you a question.
Yeah.
You're just wasting your food.
Wait, I'm just killing animals for fun. Is that okay?
No.
Why?
Because you're wasting your food. You're wasting.
Well, wait, hold on. I'm not.
You like wasting
it.
your food?
Hold
You
on.
like
I'm
wasting
not...
food?
Wait, can I
No,
say
no.
something?
My question. You like waste your food, even
Doug,
you're vegan.
Doug,
I waste my food. I play
Doug,
with my food.
I'm gonna give you one more opportunity to stop interrupting me, because I cannot have a conversation with you if you keep interrupting me. If you're gonna continue this, I do not mind kicking you from this channel, because it feels like if you keep interrupting me, I won't be even able to say anything at all, and I don't like that. Can I say something now?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I am not wasting the food. I am using it for my pleasures.
So now I talk.
Yeah, so if I'm killing animals and this satisfies my pleasures, even though I don't have to abuse dogs, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with abusing animals if I don't have to do it?
If I torn any kind of plants or cut trees for my fun, does it make sense?
Okay, Doug, let's see if you were listening. What was the last thing I said?
You said you're killing animals for fun.
Okay.
I said I cutting tree for fun.
Do you remember what I said after?
Hello. Can I give my opinion in this?
I think yes. I would like someone else to talk, because it doesn't seem like the person is capable of listening. Yes, I would like to listen to someone else.
So,
okay.
What I want to say to you, like, you want to cut trees,
Me? No.
For
I
fun.
don't want... Me? No.
No, I'm not talking to you. Like dark way, or
Dark
somebody
way.
else.
I would
Yeah, dark wave.
appreciate if you don't talk to them because they are wasting they are wasting everyone's time on here.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to explain somebody. This is very bit of different topic.
So
Sensitive
okay.
topic for certain peoples. So let's have a conversation. Let's see what are their opinion.
Okay, hold on. So the thing here is that Dark doesn't actually want to have a conversation. Dark doesn't want to understand.
So
Understand
that's
or what?
the thing.
So let's
See,
let's
what you are arguing is you are arguing. You are not discussing.
I would actually
You are
like
not
to...
perspective. You are not saying what we want to show you.
And hang on a second.
You are saying like,
wait a minute, please. Dark, you have just come into the room and hurled lots of questions at people, and you haven't listened to the answers of any of them. And when other people have asked you a question, you haven't listened to the question. You've just thrown more questions of your own back. If you want to have a conversation, you need to listen to people, and you need to think about what they're asking you, and you need to give them an answer, not throw back another question. Give them an answer. You can try again, but if you don't use that methodology, you're not going to have a
You guys
conversation.
better have your conversation. No problem. I'll hear. You guys continue.
No, we can move on to someone else. It's okay. We can move on to
We've
someone
got a
else.
bunch of new people.
Yeah, we'll have to continue this. So,
Simmerboy 21, John.
Does anyone have any questions about veganism? Anyone in here? Any questions? Damn, everyone, no questions?
Okay, I interrupted you. Did you want to say something?
I think it's just addressing Dark Cave. We could just move on from that though.
yeah, but that was not that much of thing. But I was saying you said something sentinel, na?
Sentience.
Yeah, sentience. What that means?
In a very simple way, consciousness. It's a very simple way of explaining it.
Yeah, like a brain kind of thing.
They are an individual having their own subjective experience.
Okay.
Oh yeah. The
I feel like
way...
see, killing plant doesn't making any sense. We are not killing, plants. There is no such, how can we say like we are killing plants? We can kill animals. I can say that we are killing animals. We cannot kill trees.
Well, technically we can because they are alive, but there's no immoral action of doing that because they don't have any moral worth.
Okay, let's like.
Hey, sorry, just wanted to say, hold on. Thank you to Neil for the donation. It says, good to have you back, Justin. Hope you're well. I am doing somewhat well, not totally, but thank you for the well wishes and thank you for the donation as well. Really awesome. Thanks a lot.
That we are cutting pulses or we are harvesting our agricultural product and we are not relying on animal products. That makes sense.
Yeah, no,
We
I
can
mean,
say like,
just because they are alive and we're killing something doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing.
Yeah, we can like it can be like if I have two options, one animal, one plant based. So basically I will go for plant based. Then if I have that much of necessity to eat, like I have chicken or egg, so I have nothing in the whole the world, I have nothing to eat, then I can go for eggs. In same sense, we climb the ladder, and now we are saying that we are killing plants. Actually, we are not killing plants. I think in this manner we never kill plants. plants are safe to eat. We are not hurting any, living creature. Yeah, it is totally safe. But defending that you are non-vegetarian and vegan is vegetarian, non-vegetarian, it is very much, doesn't make any sense. You cannot defend this argument that everyone is non non-vegetarian, basically.
I'm so lost. How is this? Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't
so
understand.
let me jump in real quick. I'll jump in real quick to just ask you, Kay, are you vegan?
No, I want to be vegan.
Cool.
I'm not vegan, but I want to be vegan.
Okay, cool. So my friend Debug Your Brain up there can answer some questions about and give you some resources maybe, or we can post them in the chat. Are you seeing the text chat right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll post some stuff in there for you to look at. And Debug, do you want to go for it?
Yeah, I guess you said you want to be vegan. What's holding you back, do you think? Like, why not go vegan right now, today?
Environment, I guess. There are not that much products available in market so that we can buy them easily right away.
Do you have access to things like lentils or beans or rice or bread?
Yeah, you are right in some sense, but
don't redeem the card.
Most of the time we don't see that mark over there that this is, in some mistakenly we can eat anything like which is having egg product or milk products.
Right. It's
like some sort of.
Hey, isn't India super convenient to be vegan?
Yep, it is.
Yeah, it is.
That's kind of what I thought. I think in fact the last person we had on, or 2 people ago, was saying that it would be relatively easy. I'm not from India, so I can only take what they're saying.
I think your point about making mistakes and accidentally eating vegan stuff, like, sure, we don't want that, but I think trying and maybe,
I want to go vegan,
making.
But you asked me what is stopping me from going to that. Yeah. So I'm just telling that it is one of the small problem that I face. I'm not saying that there are no other alternatives for me. I am just telling you that these are not that much like if I will go to a mall. Certainly there will be everything available for me, but in pre-processed food, which is there. So that will be more likely be vegan. Like milkshakes are there.
Yeah, I understand that. So I think that the thing is that, like you said, like you can do it, right? This might be like a minor problem or something for you. And people will drop stuff in the chat. I think Challenge 22 is good. There's probably some I'm sure there's some groups on Facebook, vegans who live in India. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be able to tell you
wherever state you're from.
Right. Like I can't tell. I live in North Carolina in the United States. I can't tell you that level of granularity. But I think what I can ask you though is why do you want to be vegan? Because if you figure out the why, the how will fill itself in. You'll get there. So why do you want to be vegan when you said that?
First of all, in my culture, I'm a Hindu, first of all. So in our culture, there is nothing related to sentencing any animal to death, first of all. We don't have that right to kill any animal. We are doing this for very long. That's a very wrong thing, but that is not our we cannot play with anyone's life, first of all.
Okay.
So there's the first thing which I think that these things are not that much
right. So we don't have the right to take animals' lives, basically. Okay.
Certain.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that's totally true. So obviously for any sort of or flesh that you're going to be eating, if you're eating cows or pigs or chickens, right?
We have hungry, so I will not kill you now.
Yeah. So we have to we have to kill them, right? So then the question is
to go for to search for alternatives.
Yeah, so because then there's the milk and the eggs, right? Do you currently eat milk and eggs?
Yeah, boiled eggs, kind of, or omelette.
Okay. Milk also, or just eggs?
What?
Do you also eat drink milk or eat cheese, or is it just eggs that you?
Like I have not eaten eggs for 1 year, more than 1 year.
Okay.
But I drink milk. And
So milk is the one. Okay. So do you know what happens in the dairy industry? Do you know how?
No, I got it. I have, I think, in that in that area as well. When you were trying to explain me how those chickens has been raised and how the eggs have been produced from them, and then they have been murdered after that, after their use, after when they are not able to bring their next generation. So
Oh wait, sorry. Is this you're the person I talked to earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Your name wasn't coming up on the screen in the same. I thought I was talking to a new person. Your name wasn't coming up on the screen correctly for me. Okay. Yeah,
Actually, you were live streaming, so I thought that my name was coming over there. So I thought that for privacy concerns, I changed my name to simply K.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's what was confusing to me. Okay. So yeah, I think we talked it out. I think you got the resources. I think you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
It sounds like you want to go vegan and you are trying to. So, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's really about finding that why. Like the details and the particulars, you'll be able to figure those out. Trust me. Every vegan has been able to figure them out. You can jump on YouTube videos. You can jump on vegan groups in your area, like YouTube. You can go on Instagram, find friends. You can come on this Discord and ask people. Like that, you will be able to figure that out. The question just is, like, do you see it as the problem that it really is? Do you feel that gravity of the problem? Because if you do, figuring it out is easy. The question we always ask ourselves is like, if I was in the victim's perspective, how quickly would I want me to change? You know? All right. Do we have anyone else? Anyone who we haven't talked to and who isn't a troll? Quiet now, okay. Also, just so people know, if you're listening to this, I did pop a little channel link in there. If you join that, that's like, I started a Discord that I literally just started. So you can join that Discord, and then I won't be totally monopolizing this if other people want to come on there, and then we'll just have this conversation without like a ton of other people jumping in. So if you want to do that, you can also pop over there. I'm also happy to stay here and just chat with people, but if you're maybe a little intimidated because it's like you versus 50 vegans and you just want to talk to me, maybe that's a little more low pressure for you. And this also goes for the people watching on YouTube. So if you're on that YouTube live stream, there should be a pinned comment up there and also in the description.
So Justin, you didn't notice, I think, because you were talking the entire time, I think. But Discord just crashed and nobody heard what you said.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, we're back now. We're back.
Yeah, we're back now.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, that makes sense.
They pushed an update and just killed everything.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, at least the people on YouTube heard, I guess.
It crashed for about 10 to 15 seconds, I guess.
That's literally me at work, pushing a change and realizing I fucked up.
That's funny. Yeah. Oh yeah, but also like if any vegans want to chat about stuff, I don't know. Is there any like I don't want to get too bogged down in case people join, but like any vegan hot takes people want to throw in there? Keep the content going.
People should know. Vegans shouldn't consume coconut milk, especially from countries that come from the letter T. Taiwan or Thailand, can't remember which ones. Due to monkey labor.
Never heard this.
Yeah, but in India, it's not a problem. If you get your coconuts from India, that's not an issue.
But the issue is, it's yeah, like here where I live, they don't really specify. You have to literally dig yourself into a hole to find where the products are coming from. It's kind of annoying.
Interesting.
I think also just kind of on the topic, right? Vegan, I think we should extend just ethical consumption to all products. So whether it be sustainable fashion or consumerism in any way, like knowing where we buy our products from.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. My only thing is I don't know if that falls under the rubric of veganism.
No, it doesn't. That's what I mean. Like,
okay.
I think it's so important, and like a lot of times people will try to catch us out, like, oh, but you wear this thing, or you're a hypocrite, and they're trying to do a too-quickly fallacy. Yeah. And even if it's a fallacy, logical fallacies come from a place of like just rational human. It's human logic that brings there psychologically, even though it's not logical. It's innate in human nature. And I just like saying no. I just say, yep, I don't do that, I don't do that, I don't do that. And
it's actually just for the argument's sake, just so like, no one can call you out on being inconsistent.
But they'll just go down the line then though and be like, yeah, well, you have a computer and then a car and then this, and then they'll just keep going because like you could point to any part of any product, right?
Yeah, this is the what you live in society meme.
Literally.
Yeah, but I think I do that. Like any products I buy in the future, I have looked into it, or I buy secondhand.
But there is a problem with this argument. Like if people accuse you of hypocrisy, you can just ask them for what's the argument that like consuming ethically in scare quotes leads to a better future, better outcomes. It's actually not that clear with all these other products. Like with vegan products, it's very clear. Like animals will not be bred into existence into this terrible life. There's actually this philosopher called Stein Brewers who wrote about this, who is vegan by the way, but he wrote that he's now anti-fair trade actually, because there's actually an argument that it makes life worse for people because it enriches like a very specific group of people, like for instance with fair trade coffee, but it doesn't make the life of people. But it's I'm just saying I don't know exactly, but it's definitely not a clear-cut argument just as compared to veganism.
Very curious then about this.
Yeah.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
I'll type out my name in chat.
Hey, what's up? What?
Don't talk to me like I'm a casual acquaintance. I was just letting you know I was going to work out now.
Oh, okay. So, okay, then you're gonna come back home, I assume.
Huh?
You're gonna come back home after?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Kiss.
Take care of the environment, then that actually leads to worse outcomes for the animals because, you know, what's better than for your health than eating cows in terms of animal products? It's like chickens, and then, you know, way more chickens are going to have to suffer and die to provide the same amount of food, and or fish, you know, same story. And with environmentalism, it's the same story. Like, what's better for the environment? You know, if you don't want to go vegan, it's to eat like factory farmed animals because, you know, it's a lower CO2 output. So, yeah, chickens and a lot of chickens. So, yeah, I think those are very dangerous arguments. Yeah.
Sorry, I think they actually help a lot. Like, I know some people, like, especially like AV, right? They will like tell people in their workshops, like, do not bring up the animals, like you're doing this just from an ethical stance. But I think just in terms of like rhetoric, any points that you can use to convince them to move away from those products, you can. And environmentally, I think we have a very strong position. But you are right though, right? Like technically chickens are more environmentally friendly than cows, even though plants are even better. But if someone's not going to move all the way, it's just going to increase suffering.
Yeah, and factory farm chickens are better for the environment than like, you know, the chickens on a friendly farm that have all the space. Because land use is it's bad for the environment.
But so I don't struggle with that because I don't think I've still to this day like met anyone who's okay with factory farmed. conditions, like they ethically themselves are against it. Sometimes, like I was considering trying this out, right? Not arguing for veganism, but like just arguing against factory farms, right? Using that and getting people off that is already such a huge, like, people like already have to shift so much of their living anyways, right? Like, it's not everyone that eats local and that kind of stuff. If they move away from factory farms, the amount of effort that they have to put in, it basically means they can't really buy out fast food chains anymore. And so I'm thinking, like, it's a way for me to like upsell, which is like get them to agree to something and then make a little bit like a bit more close to that, so they're more likely to bite on that. But I don't know. I want to try it out.
Yeah, I think that can definitely be used rhetorically too, because I think I was talking to someone yesterday, and I kind of wish I had brought that up. But they were saying, like, you know, they just don't want to farm, like factory farm. Like, that's really bad. And they were also concerned about the environment. And having those two things together, it's like, yes, but the more welfare we give them in general, the worse for the environment it's going to be. So there's already a tension there. So if you don't like factory farms and you want it to be good for the environment, then you still need veganism, right? Abolition is still the answer to that. So
yeah, if you put it into that equation, then that's the only answer. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Vegan hot takes.
Any other questions?
I mean, I don't have a hot take. I just wanted to follow up, Justin, your video about how, you know, influencers aren't going to help. I thought that was a very good video, especially how like targeting people more close to you, friends, families, just local groups that you might see regularly. Because what we're asking for isn't a simple change; it's like a lifestyle change, and kind of in the same way how like a homophobic person or a transphobic person, if they actually got to know someone from the LGBT, like just knowing someone does so much for like showing them, oh, these are just normal people as well, right? In the same way, just having a vegan person in your life, like recurring, you can see like, oh, it's just stigma, like they're normal, they don't really struggle that much, they enjoy food and stuff as well. Like, that's why it's so like, and I've like asked people, and like if it's not online, like it's probably like a close friend or a close family person who's convinced them, and they've seen real life, like, okay, they've changed because of that recurring, like they've seen them and they've had all those questions answered because of regular just experience with the vegan, right? I think we need to do way more research and like how to get people more effective at that kind of stuff. I'm just curious if you had any more thoughts on that.
No, it is interesting too, because there's a difference between like encountering a vegan once and you being like, oh, this, and then they respond, this respond. It's like a 20-minute long conversation where they debunk everything in 20 minutes. That person who walks away from that conversation is not going to remember all that. They're going to remember like two things maybe from that conversation. Whereas if you have a vegan in your life, those questions are getting answered over a longer time scale. They're getting answered over and over again. They're getting answered implicitly when it's like, what could I eat? Like, they're not even asking what can I eat, but you're just bringing vegan things and answering that question, you know? And so, yeah, I think definitely that is an important thing to do. That video is interesting. I think Catherine Klein is actually, I believe, going to put out a video relating to that book that video was referencing. She was messaging me the other day about, which is interesting that you brought it up. But yeah, I think it's like definitely an untapped strategy, and I still don't even know exactly how to implement it, which is kind of why I put the video out, because I thought it was an interesting concept, and I'm like, damn, how would I like actually go about effectuating this? I know, that's
exactly what I was trying to find out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So some things I've heard are like, you know, I'm not religious, so I don't have like a church group. But like if you are and you have a church group, that seems like a really good place to start. That's a tight-knit group of people who have like a shared like sort of moral framework. I know here in the US there is actually I think it's called Unitarian Universalists, and it's sort of like a church without the gods in a way. It's sort of like people meet up and they talk about spirituality, but there's no like Christians can come, Muslims can come, atheists can come, you know, anyone who wants can come. And they'll often even like, I think there was one, I know that someone in the area, a vegan, they did a vegan talk. I know I've been to one once with another friend. There was like an effective altruism talk that they did. So it's like they talk about ethics there, but it's sometimes through a secular lens or through a lens that can be inflected through both secularism and religiosity. And so I think that is like probably fertile ground for it. So the question, like I've said this before, like any sort of small group that you get together with, like if you have like an intramural soccer league or something, or like, I'm a nerd, so I like play Dungeons and Dragons. And an interesting thing about that is there's a guy in my Dungeons and Dragons group. He's a power lifter and he was plant-based, and he recently started describing himself as vegan. And it was partially from like watching my videos, because he's like, oh, you have a YouTube channel. I'm like, yeah, here you go, just like watch some of these videos. And so one advantage of having like videos is like you don't even have to be as confrontational as like directly addressing the person. You can just be like, yeah, just check out my YouTube channel, and then it's like not quite so like coming at them directly. So yeah, and I think that guy just joined an Activism server. I don't know if he's going to do Activism or not, but he joined the server. So yeah.
Have you tried? I mean, that's the thing, right? Because it's such a like a.
No, sorry, there are people joining, and we're kind of ignoring them.
Sorry, yeah,
maybe
let's.
We can...
Yeah,
sorry. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, they're left now, but maybe we can like check it out once in a while to see that there are like non-vegans here.
Just yell at me. Just yell at me.
Bad guy.
No problem. Just yelling at me. Because I'll just keep talking. Like I get tunnel vision whenever I'm chatting. So sorry about that.
I think one of the things that we can like.
What I want to see here is we cannot I want to be vegan now. I am I am taking myself in community of vegan now. I am considering myself. But the thing is, like, we cannot force anyone.
That's true.
The thing we are doing is we can teach them, we can show them what they are doing wrong, but we cannot force anyone.
Yes.
Well, you can't really force someone to have an ethical philosophy that way anyway.
Yeah,
like, we're not advocating for forcing anybody to do anything anyway. Like even if I force someone to eat broccoli, I'm not forcing them to be vegan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I told them
forcing somebody to eat broccoli.
No, I'm not taking in that sense. You are taking me wrong, but I'm saying that normally I am saying normally that people tends to defend in this way, like we are forcing them. If we talk vegan all the time in front of them, so they will believe that that I am doing wrong. They will not believe in us, but they will not think about the ideology behind what we are trying to convey. Basically,
yeah, I think what you're describing there is that there's definitely different tactics, and different strategies for like how do we convey this message, and you'll find a broad spectrum. Like I guess I don't know what this would actually be interesting. I'd like to hear where people think I fall on the spectrum as far as like from like gentle to very extreme. I think most people would probably describe me as somewhat on the gentler end, and there definitely are people who
You're
go.
a teddy bear.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
I would say you're a teddy bear.
Okay, so like maximum gentleness.
Any more and you'd be a pick me.
The main thing which I can see, which is in the pathway of that, which is stopping everyone to be vegan, is normalizing killing of people itself. Like today's lots of war are going on in present day, and on top of that there are multiple things as well, like everyone is killing everyone. Like if you will see that now, what is that Squid Game? Have you ever heard of Squid Game?
Yeah.
So in that they have shown everything like very normally. They are showing killing is normal kind of. So all these things, what they what they create in everyone's brain, like all these things, killing anyone for themselves, it is normal. So if you are killing any animal, that doesn't make any sense. It is just unwanted animal, or even they doesn't even consider that thing as an animal. That's the main thing here. we are normalizing daily. We are normalizing that killing is normal. We see soldiers. We see every threat. I'm just saying that we are making normal. We are making killing normal. Humans normal. Killing human normal. So by default, any animal species after that, killing of that.
Yeah, I think kind of what you're getting at is like is that violence, psychologically violence is connected in our minds, right? Like the more we see that.
What they are thinking is that they are thinking that certainly we are not doing that much wrong. They are comparing themselves with killing human, and then they are coming upon animal. Then we can kill animals. That is not wrong, but killing human is wrong. They have reached that level.
Yes. Yeah.
You know now what I'm trying to say right now.
I think I do.
The level of they have increased their violence level to up to animals only.
Yes. Yeah. I got you.
But they have to realize that later on in their life, or when they will give some thoughts upon this topic of vegan or torturing animals, then they will realize that what is wrong in this thing.
Yes. Yeah, I think I agree.
They will have when they will have pet, when they will care for that, and when someday that pet will die, or somebody will kill that animal, then they will come to realize that it is a living thing, which is having some sort of emotions.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is like vegans oftentimes.
Like if you will see dog, I don't know. Dogs have been also eaten, or I have no idea, but I have heard that in China they used to eat it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
so this is something that we talk about a lot. Is like an analogy that we often draw is two dogs. Like in the West, it's seen as very bad to kill dogs. So in the same way that you're saying, like most people think it's wrong to kill a person, in the West, most people think it's wrong to kill a person and think it's wrong to kill a dog. And so we'll draw those analogies to both people and dogs to get them to see like, okay, like what's the difference with a cow? Like what's the substantive significant difference between a dog and a cow?
That's what I want to say.
Yeah, that makes killing one okay and the other not.
Like one people who was arguing about that, I will cut trees for my fun, like that. So if you will, who is drawing his, he was trying to say like, what will happen if I will cut trees like that?
Yeah, what would I say to them?
Let it be. Leave it.
Yeah.
We have a new person in VC.
Do we? Okay. Let's bring him on.
Do they have a mic? Yo, person with a Arabic name. Not Led. Okay. I know Led.
Yes, left, I guess.
No, the dude with the Arabic name with a picture of a beach hat on sand. Or
there is no one, I guess.
Raven.
Oh, with gun.
There is an event going on. Alex, should we start an event then?
No, it's not an event. We are just general talk.
I know, we could start an event.
I actually don't know what that means in Discord. What does that mean, starting an event?
So this is like a server for like English speaking, right? And they have lots of different events, whether it be like teaching classes or specific like topics you want to debate or discuss.
Okay.
And so events are like highlighted at the top of the server, and it'll show for anyone new joining if they want to hop by. So basically, much more visibility.
Okay, draws more people in. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Axel. I keep messing up your name.
Can anyone start an event, or does that have to you have to have special permissions or something?
I think vegan vanguards can we? Felix, he's not there.
Yeah, all vegan vanguards can, but I'm on it right now.
Do you want to start one? There isn't anything going on, so.
Yeah.
Ankit, are you vegan?
No, I'm not a vegan.
There you go, Justin.
Oh, sorry. What's up? You are not a vegan. Okay. Why did you come onto the server? You want to debate veganism?
No, I don't want to debate. I just joined itself. I know any specific reason behind it.
Do you know what veganism is?
What?
Do you know what veganism is?
No, I know about veganism, but I don't know much about it.
Okay. So, yeah, veganism, a lot of people think it's just like not eating eggs or cows or something like that. But it's actually sort of an ethical position. It's a stance that says that humans should not exploit animals, shouldn't commodify them, shouldn't objectify them, we shouldn't enslave animals. That's basically the vegan stance in a nutshell. And then because of that, we behave in a certain way, right? So then we don't eat eggs, we don't drink milk, we don't wear leather, we don't eat cows or chickens, things like that. Do you know why?
I know.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. My own brother is a vegan. Like,
Oh, okay.
I'm not.
So you eat chickens, pigs, cows, eggs, all that?
No, bro. I'm a Hindu and I can't eat cow. What are you said? Like cow is a worship.
So you do drink milk and eggs?
We consider cow as a worshipped like a holy goddess in our religion. We only eat egg and.
Hello, vegans.
Hello. So drink milk and eat eggs then?
Yeah, I also drink milk.
Sorry, what was that?
I drink milk also.
Drink milk
What
also?
are you asking?
Okay, so do you know why cows produce milk? Did we lose him?
How?
Who was that talking there?
Did he just left the channel?
He may have.
Maybe, I think so, yeah. But we got a bunch of new people because the events come in.
Sure,
Welcome, Basti, Abdul, Adro, all the new people. But basically, we're via welcome. Some of us here are vegans. If you have any questions or if you have a mic, feel free to come and talk to us and berate us, right? See if veganism holds up to your scrutiny.
Okay, got you.
So Abdul, you're non-vegan, I assume?
Can you repeat?
You're not vegan?
Like, I don't have the idea of vegan, but being vegan is good, you know?
Being vegan is good, okay. So
in some cases.
So currently, do you eat cows or chickens or pigs? Do you drink milk, eggs?
No, I don't eat pigs.
Don't eat pigs. Do you drink milk or eat eggs?
I eat eggs for protein and some meat.
Okay. You eat
beef,
eggs?
some beef.
You eat eggs and cows. Gotcha. Okay. So did you hear my explanation of what veganism was? I think you were on here for that.
No, I'm just here. Like,
Okay.
just joined. Right?
Sure. Okay. Gotcha. So veganism, basically what it is, a lot of people think it means that you don't eat animals or eggs or milk. And while that is what vegans do, that's one of the things vegans do, veganism is like a philosophy, right? So it basically says that humans shouldn't exploit animals. We shouldn't commodify them, objectify them, and like we shouldn't enslave animals, basically. And whenever we are drinking their milk, eating their flesh, eating their eggs, we're commodifying them.
Okay, so I
and
have
enslaving
a
them.
question.
Sure.
I have a question for this.
Does that make sense, though?
So why wouldn't we kill animals? Why did animals created? So we can eat it.
He was
And,
literally hold on. He was Riddler. He was literally just explaining it. Were you not listening?
Yeah. Okay.
He was literally
but
answering your question, and then you stopped him and asked this question. So
No, I had some question while he was talking. Just he can continue. Don't be
but
don't
he's
be
answering your
don't be like that.
question exactly.
No.
So,
Chill out.
yeah.
Chill out. You can
No,
continue.
don't tell
Greg.
me to chill out. Just listen to the person talking.
No, you
and
have to
don't
chill out.
interrupt him.
For
Yeah.
real.
Please stop
Okay,
talking.
continue, man. My bad.
So you're asking why not kill animals, right? So the thing is animals are sentient, right? Humans are sentient. We can feel pain. We don't want to die. We can feel loneliness. We can feel joy. Animals are the same way, okay? Pigs, chickens, cows, they're all sentient. They can feel pain. They don't explicitly want to die. That's why animals like avoid being killed. That's why they get scared, right? The animals get scared. They can be traumatized. And so because of that, what happens to them matters, right? So like, for instance, like, you know, if there was like a dog walking down the street and I just walked up and punched the dog in the head, would you say there was anything wrong with that?
Yeah, it's really wrong. It's really a bad thing.
Why is it wrong?
Because, as you said, it's sentient, and you won't do something like this for an animal like this.
Right. So the dog, I would say, because the dog is feeling pain, right? Like if I go up and do that, I'm hurting the dog, right?
Right.
So in the same way, if I walked up and punched a human, it would also be bad, right? And so I take it then that also if I walked up and punched a cow in the head or a pig in the head, right? That would also be bad.
Okay, so
well, do you agree with that? Sorry, just before we move on, do you agree that if I just walked up and punched a cow in the head, that would be bad, or a pig?
Yeah, exactly. That's really bad.
Okay, so then you said you eat eggs, right? So do you know what happens?
Yeah.
So okay, you go and buy eggs at the grocery store or whatever, right? What had to happen? Like, where did those chickens come from?
They came from eggs, and we get them while they are growing.
Right. So in order, though, to get those chickens into existence, we bring them into existence. So we're not going out and like finding chickens in the wild and like bringing them in and giving them a home, right? We are breeding them. And in order to do that, we basically, for the most part, it's like a very manual process. Like humans are going in there and getting the semen from the male chickens, and then they're inserting it into the female chickens. So, and this is sort of all animal agriculture, pigs, cows, whatever, right? There is almost always some form of what they call artificial insemination, which I would call forcible impregnation. So at some point, we are going to be exploiting their reproductive and sexual organs, okay? So just before we get to any of like the conditions they live in, before we get to the killing any of that, there is this sexual exploitation that is just like baked in right at the beginning, okay? So then you get, right, chickens. You got 50% female chickens, 50% male chickens, right? Only the females can lay eggs. So what happens to those male chickens?
These male chickens, like, can I ask the question again?
Yeah, so whenever we're breeding the chickens, you have 50% female chickens and 50% male chickens. So the female chickens will lay eggs. What happens to the male chickens?
They continue breeding.
So that's what you might think. So chickens, there's two different breeds. There's broilers and layers. So the layers, the male chickens, they don't get big enough fast enough to be profitable. So we keep the female chickens, the layers, around, but the male layer chickens, when they are 1 day old, maybe 2 days sometimes, we basically put them on a conveyor belt and drop them into a giant macerator, which is like a blender. So it's spinning blades that just chops them into pieces, okay? Sometimes they'll suffocate them. Sometimes I've seen that they burn them. So those chicks, those male chicks, are killed day one of their life, typically in like brutal, horrifying ways. So then, okay, then we just have the females, right?
I have a question.
Sure.
So you're saying that we are we are killing animals and like this, but we don't have other way. So how can I get my supplements and eat food that makes me live, and go find the vegan stuff? And it's gonna be it's gonna be really cost expensive for me. Mm-hmm. I won't find it that easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So okay.
It won't be like the same good taste as other things, you know. That will be hard. If I wanna be vegan, that will be really hard for me, and my body will, like, every muscle won't really grow. we are getting the proteins, we are getting the muscles.
Okay. Yeah. So give me 1 sec.
Animals.
Abdul, I'm gonna address like multiple others because you've thrown out a bunch of points. So let me just pause you so I can address each one. So I appreciate the points you're making. Right? You're saying maybe it's gonna be expensive, maybe it's gonna be inconvenient. I can't get protein. Those were sort of the ones I heard. So let's kind of work backwards. So proteins, right? Every organism has DNA, right? DNA makes RNA. Right. RNA makes protein. So pretty much any organism there is, they have protein. Protein is just a fundamental part of organisms, right? What that means is that plants have protein, okay? So that's where the animals get their protein, is from eating plants.
Okay, but the protein that we get from plants, not the same as the protein we get from animals. They are like, really, if you can search about it, there is like a really big difference in consuming. It gives me fast protein, and this is a slower protein rate. It's something like that, but I can't really explain it.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, Justin, I can address this if you want, like on an empirical level.
I was just gonna flex, but...
Yeah, you can do that.
But yeah, go. But yeah, so just to explain where am I at. So I'm probably like... I know I'm not huge. I'm not like Chip. Get Chip in here and have him flex. Or check out Val's avatar in the chat. But like, I'm probably, like, I'm almost 40 years old and I'm in better shape than all my friends who aren't vegans. You know what I mean? Or yeah, go to Vegan Gains. There's tons of vegan influencers who are totally jacked. And there are, I think now at least 2 studies that show that as long as you're getting the same amount of protein, so they took omnivores and they took vegans, they matched their protein, and they built the same amount of muscle. There's no significant difference between the amount of muscle that they build. And
I can show you those studies if you want. I can also explain how like amino acids work and shit like that.
Okay, so one like Patrick Bobomian, how did he get this body without any like killing any animal or eating any animal?
Yeah, because there's protein in plants, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's search about him. Or like I don't really like.
Yeah, well, just you can look at my like share, right? I'm sharing a screen. You can just look, and I can explain just a little bit about protein, right? Because a lot of people are confused about it, and it's really, really easy actually. So let me know when you're looking, right?
I'm looking here.
Awesome. So there are 9 essential amino acids in protein. Protein is made out of amino acids. There are 20 altogether, but 9 of them you must eat from food, right? You can't produce yourself. And animal foods, so there is eggs that you eat, there is chicken, there is beef and pork, have all 9 essential amino acids. Legumes, beans, lentils, peas, however, also have all 9 essential amino acids. So do grains, pasta, nuts, vegetables, fruits, mushrooms, everything. Everything that is plant has all the 9 essential amino acids. So these are the research that Justin was talking about, right? So they fed high protein plant-based diet versus a protein match omnivorous diet to a bunch of young people and told them to train. And the conclusion was there is no difference in building muscle or like even strength. So they ended up being the same. This is a well-balanced vegan diet.
I have a question. Sorry, my bad.
No problem.
Where did you get this research from?
It's just scientists did the research, but if you are worried about who paid for it, so I have some research here paid by the meat industry.
No, I wanna know the source.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I can give you the links to all of it. No problem. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
so this is I'm gonna just put this article afterwards in the chat, and it has like all of those are clickable. And you can click on them and you go to the research and you can read it. And some of that is just regular scientists just checking out stuff. And some of them are even like paid by the meat industry. So it's like no bias there. So this is a well-balanced vegan diet, does not compromise daily mixed muscle protein. And this is in older people, so no problem, eating just plants that have enough protein. This is meals containing equivalent total protein from foods providing complete, complementary, or incomplete essential amino acids. So if you say, well, some of the plant foods don't have all the essential amino acids or enough of them, doesn't seem to matter. They still grow, the middle-aged women, right, in this case, so not even like working out that much. Still absolutely healthy on a plant-based diet. This is the impact of vegan diets on resistance exercise. So again, demonstrated that anabolic action versus animal versus vegan dietary patterns are similar, so there is no difference between the two diets. So there you go, all the research that you need for this. And of course, I can show you a huge parade of, give me a second, of just like buff people with lots of muscles, like including, oh, fuck me. It got stuck. But I can show you like buff people. There is like a vegan bodybuilders, and there is even like a vegan Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, I'm not saying
So,
that food like vegetables don't make muscles. It's a really good way to grow my muscles and make it bigger and better.
Yeah.
But like meat is playing also a good role in
yeah,
making
but it's
muscles
not necessary.
and
That's the
having
point, right?
having
So-
yeah.
Abdul, so the point is, right, you can grow your muscles on meat and be healthy on meat, and you can grow your muscles on plants and be healthy on plants.
Right.
And therefore, meat is like 3 times, 5 times, 10 times more cruel because it's unnecessary, because you can have the same result on plants. And I'm gonna give you, tell you a secret, it's also like much more healthy to go for the plant protein than it is to go for the equivalent animal protein, because animal protein is usually like has like risk to human health, so like cardiovascular disease,
yeah.
diabetes,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
cancer, like colorectal cancer is like a big one. So I would go for plant protein, even for yourself, right? But first I would like also consider the victims. If we don't have to, if we can build all of our muscle on a plant-based diet, we don't have to then kill animals for this. It's absolutely unnecessary. And that's what makes it insane. It's so unnecessary and we still do it. Why?
Yeah, and I'll give you an example, man. Like my girlfriend, she just started powerlifting, I think last year. I don't know exactly how long it's been, maybe 6 months or whatever. She's vegan. She's been vegan for the past 5 years. She just squatted 230 pounds, I think, or 235 pounds, and just deadlifted like 240 or 250 pounds the other day. That's my girlfriend. Okay, that's like more than most guys can lift. And again, she's powerlifting, and she's been on a vegan diet forever. I have one other friend in the area who I talked about earlier. He's vegan, and he has been plant-based for a long time. He is giant. He can probably deadlift like 400 or 500 pounds. Like, yeah, it's just like, I know it seems like that, and I was really worried about that when I first started. I was like very scared I wouldn't be able to build muscle, because I've always sort of lifted it like a casual level. No issues when I went vegan, none at all.
Okay, so let's talk about the thing that you say, why we like kill animals and eat them. We don't. So let's. I have a question for you. What do you believe in? Like, what's your religion?
I'm not religious.
And VPM?
I'm also not religious. I'm anti-theist, actually.
No, I mean like
anti-theist. Wow.
Yeah. I take the stronger position that
you don't believe in Jesus, right?
I don't believe in any gods, and I reject all religion as something that wastes the human mind. But you know, like I respect people who are religious. I'm just like don't respect religion.
Okay, so I wanted just to ask you this question, so I could tell you that it is really not bad in your religion. Religion said to you that you can eat whatever you want, and these things are made for people so they can grow and live. But okay, don't mind. You can.
Yeah, but like, listen, even if you are religious, right, you can still like reason, right? Nowhere in any religion does it say that you must eat meat. Nowhere. Or must eat like kill animals for food. So like, I usually ask people like, is your religion? Are you Muslim, by any chance?
I'm Muslim. Yeah.
Yeah. So I usually ask people this question, and I hope you can think about it, right? If you have 2 possible worlds, one world we kill animals and for unnecessary stuff, in the other world we don't kill animals for unnecessary stuff. Which world do you think Allah would prefer? Which world would you say is a better world?
Okay, so it's about the way we kill animals. We can't just kill any animal we see in front of us. This is a really bad thing. we
Abdul,
just
if you can
give
like
them to
think
get-
of my actual question though, right? So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
asked, like,
I'm
imagine you have
answering,
two. Yeah, but it doesn't
I'll
sound
choose
like
the peaceful. I will choose the peaceful route for sure. No killing.
Yeah, so the one that doesn't kill animals would be the world that Allah prefers, right? Because it's
Right.
like still his children, right? It's still his creation, the animals. So if
Right.
we don't have to kill them, why would we choose to?
Okay,
Allah
so
would say it would better not to kill them, right?
okay, so but it depends of the kind of the animal. There is some animals that is not that we can't eat or even hurt or do anything for them. Even the animals we eat, we can't hurt them because they're sentient. Okay, they are really sentient.
Yeah, but you're taking that sentience away from
but
them,
just-
and
yeah.
that's the crux of my question there, Abdul.
Okay, so my
So
religion.
if you have, Abdul, hold on. So I'm going to make it really, really, really clear, right? If you have the ability to not kill sentient beings, even like gently, right, killing them in a kind way, right?
Yeah.
If you have the ability to not take their lives, would Allah prefer that over taking their lives?
Allah, if we are talking about Allah and religion, Allah will prefer both ways because both of them are right. Because He give us the ability or like give us the pass of eating animals, but not in a bad way. We can't just hurt them. We just kill them in a peaceful way, like all of us. We kill them suddenly, so they don't hurt. So their soul get really fast out of their body, you know.
Yeah, but the question is, which one would he prefer if he only had to choose one? Right?
Both of them. Both of them. Both of
No,
them are
just choose
bad.
one. Just choose one, Abdul.
I can't choose one because both of them and religion.
It's illogical not to choose one because otherwise, what you're saying is that animals have no worth, zero worth. If you're saying there is no difference, basically, right, between killing an animal and not killing an animal. Hold on. What you're saying is that it doesn't matter if you kill an animal, if you take a sentient life, or if you don't take a sentient life. It has zero moral question. That means you care zero about animals.
Okay, so let's say that I choose the peaceful way and I don't kill animals at all. Let's think about plants and vegetables.
Sure.
So, in talking about vegetables and plants, they already have a soul. Already have soul. So if we get them and eat them, there is so many proofs, but to be honest, I don't have right now. You can search about that. They have souls. They have a really actual life. There are some of them like like there are really different species that kills things to live, and there's species that is really peaceful. So
the question is though, right? So now, Abdul, the question is, do you not see the difference between animals and plants?
No, there's a big difference.
Yeah. What's the difference? I think you already mentioned it. It's sentience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So if animals are
sentient, both of them have sentient. If you don't know
you
that.
Sure? You think plants are sentient?
Yeah.
Sorry. How did you reach that conclusion?
Like when you go to a tree and hold something that is sharp like a knife or something, and cut it or do something like this, it hurts.
Really? How do you reach that conclusion? How do you know that it hurts?
There is a lot of researches that show that you can. To be honest, I didn't bring anything with me right now.
So I'm sharing my screen again.
When you hurt it, it like have like a defense stuff. And it brings itself together, so it can.
Abdul, I'm going to stop you right there, right? Because that's just not true, and no research shows this. Zero. Hold on, zero research showed this. So, research shows that plants have like defense chemicals. That doesn't mean they're sentient. That means like they release chemicals. So that's a chemical reaction, right? So if you look at my screen again, I'm showing what sentience is. So sentience requires a brain and a nervous system. That is something that you must have in order to be sentient. That is a thing that most animals have and plants do not have, right? So the research on plant sentience is pretty definitive that plants do not have consciousness or sentience. That's what it means, consciousness. But animals, most animals, some animals don't, but most animals do. And it debunks, this research debunks all the ambiguous claims that are made sometimes, but none of the claims actually show plant sentience. Plants are not sentient. It's a debunked thing. It's not true. So when people say plants can feel pain, there is no evidence for that.
Okay, so where did you get this research from?
Sure. I'll plunk it for you as well in the chat.
Okay.
This is a literature review, and they just basically debunk the very esoteric claims, all right? It's like only the weirdos claim in the scientific research claim that plants are sentient, but usually they don't even claim that. They just like vaguely obfuscate and say, well, they release chemicals, therefore it could be sentient, maybe. But
okay, so can you read the first line of abstract?
Sure. Claims that plants have conscious experiences have increased in recent years and have received wide coverage from popular media or to scientific journals. Such claims are misleading and have the potential to misdirect fundings and governmental policy decisions. This is why these people wrote this debunk, right? Because money is spent on this, and it's like biologically impossible for plants to be sentient. Like on a cellular level, the cells of plants, they just can't transmit information this fast, as fast as we need to, right? So a human being, if you put your fingers into fire, right, the reaction is immediate. There is a lot of things happening, right? So your nervous system sends like a SOS to your brain, and your brain interprets what's happening, and it sends a signal back that is pain, and that takes like nanoseconds. Plants are not capable of this. When a plant releases a chemical reaction, like the chemicals, it's usually about half an hour after. So sentience just cannot happen on a biological level. And this debunk says so in a very, very dense way. So when you read it, just put it in ChatGPT and ask it to explain it to you, because that's what I did. Frankly, I'm not smart enough to understand all of this, right? But the biological debunk here is extensive. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Okay, so I have other question here. So why don't we let's say kill animals if animals are killing themselves and already like there is like the wildlife, you know?
So animals killing animals is you asking you. So if animals kill animals, what's the problem with us killing animals? Well, there are a couple of questions onto this, right? First of all, so animals are kind of not necessarily capable of morality. Some of them are, right? But others not so much. And therefore, like having this conversation with them would be kind of impossible, you know what I mean? But a more important thing is that animals also like rape each other, right? And animals like kill their young and stuff like that, right? Like bunnies eat their young if they're stressed. So when they, right? So we shouldn't try deriving morality from the animal kingdom, because we're not part of it anymore. You know what I mean? Like you go to a grocery store to buy your food, you don't go like, you know, you don't live in the woods basically. And therefore it's like possible and practicable for you to avoid slaughtering animals and exploiting animals for yourself, right?
Okay, but there is no difference. They are dying or getting killed. So why don't we get benefit from their body?
Well, they aren't dying anyway. We're breeding them into existence. We're bringing them into existence to basically torture and kill them. So these aren't animals that would have died.
We are not torturing them at all. We are killing them in the peaceful way.
Well, remember.
Well, that's just factually incorrect.
Yeah, I mean,
even in your region.
Okay, so let's talk about the religious way. In our religion, I don't mind about Christianity, how they kill animals. In my religion, we like do something that kills animals without they have sentient thing. Like they don't really sense this in a really hurt way. It just
Yeah, that's not correct. Actually, you have a video.
They feel this, but in a really fast way that they don't really hurt of it. Like their souls get really fast out of their body.
Abdul, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So if I don't know, do you have a and it doesn't matter what you have. So let me ask you, if I do it really, really painlessly and really quickly, right? Even like without them feeling so, can I kill humans like that?
There's a big difference between human. You
No.
can't.
Sure, there is a difference, but I'm asking like morally speaking, right? So taking sentient life when you don't have to, right? And I'm trying to explain it to you through an example that you would understand much better because you are a human. And so it would be easier for you to empathize with humans. So our claim as vegans is that it's not only that it's the pain of having their throat slit. It's not just that. It's the fact that you slit their throat in the first place that is immoral, unjust, unnecessary, and cruel. So in humans, if I did this, that would be incredibly cruel. So there are differences between humans and animals, but the question is, which difference makes it that it's cruel in case of humans, but not cruel in case of animals, when we know that both are sentient, right?
Because the animals are made of us to consume, so we can consume them.
But why does that matter? Why does that make it not cruel to take their life?
Same as vegetable.
Sorry, why are you reverting to vegetables again? We just went through that vegetables.
No, I mean like they are all consumable things.
Well, sorry, humans, right?
Sorry, go ahead.
So humans are consumable too, right? And in fact, so during slavery, they actually bred slaves into existence. Okay, so again, this wasn't just taking slaves from a place. After people took slaves from a particular place, they would then breed those slaves, right? And so just because they bred them into existence to be a slave, does that make it okay to enslave them?
Wait a second, what is Axel doing?
So I thought you said because they were, like the animals were bred to be eaten, therefore it's okay, and they are also made of an edible material.
Okay, so wait a second. Look at Axel Bertel share screen for a second. Look, this is the way we slaughter. We get animals.
Yeah, you can see that. Hold on. So I want to address this as we go down step by step. So the whole premise is to do it painlessly. Hold on. The whole premise is to sacrifice, right? They are the ones to make the sacrifice. They are the ones that are giving themselves to God. They are the ones that's submitting, right? This person right here is not the one that's supposed to be submitting. It is supposed to be the animal that is supposed to be submitting and giving themselves to God. Correct?
Right.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, like, I mean, just we can put this in the human context. Like, it sounded like you didn't think it was okay to kill a human painlessly. When we were talking about like dogs earlier, like if I just went up to a random dog on the street and slashed their throat open, killed them very quickly.
And as you can see, there's no submission here. He is not willing.
I don't want to die. He's fighting. So, what kind of a cruel god would do this? Give these animals the ability to fight, the will to live, and then decide, yeah, it's fine what you do to them for unnecessary stuff, for unnecessary reasons.
Where's my water?
Abdul, you still there?
Look, they are like trying to calm him.
But he's submitting. He doesn't want to die. Look at him. He doesn't want to die.
He's trying to calm him. Calm him.
Yeah, so he's trying. Yeah, he's trying to calm him, but he's not succeeding. He doesn't want to die. Whatever is happening now.
Why would you need to Why would you need to calm something that is sacrificing themselves? You shouldn't have to calm something that wants to be sacrificed.
That was made for it, right? Supposedly. He doesn't know. He wants to live. He doesn't know that he's made for this. He's struggling. Trickery.
And noticed how he even called him baby. This man called this sheep baby. Why would you kill something you call baby?
Someone.
If you don't know this, these people really likes animals, really like them, and they raise them like as their sons. They really love them.
Yeah, you don't raise your son to
Do you
slit
murder
their
your
throat.
son?
No, but they are. That's the animal's destiny. So just they have nothing to do.
It's not their destiny.
Again, destiny.
So if somebody has children, for the purpose of enslaving them, I guess that's their destiny, and then it's okay.
We can't compare humans with animals. It's like
We can.
comparing sky with earth.
Humans are animals. We can compare the analogy. That's the thing.
No,
You're,
we can't
I'm
compare them
comparing. Abdul, I'm comparing the reasoning you're using. I'm using your logic in another scenario.
So,
what's wrong with it?
In case, if you are like comparing these things together, why don't we? Wait a second. I wanna.
How are you watching this and just arguing the whole fucking time?
Because it's copium.
Like I don't get this. Like you're arguing the whole fucking time.
Okay, so why are we like killing insects? Insects. They also have lives.
Sorry, can we really not move on to that?
No, they are.
What's happening here?
No, they have a soul like animals. Why are we killing them?
We can talk about that once you acknowledge that what happened here is fucking cruel.
Okay, so, this is not cruel as you think. This is the peaceful way of getting
It
meat
didn't
of
look
animal.
fucking peaceful. It looks like he was struggling the entire time.
He was. You didn't see the real struggle
Was
of
he
animals.
struggling or not? Was he struggling or not?
He was not that. Okay, so he was struggling, but not that
Yes.
much. There
Did
are
it
animals
look
that
like
really
he was
struggle more
bleeding?
than that, and
Did it look like he was
getting
bleeding?
killed.
He wasn't struggling to a high degree
this is
because he
this
was
is animal.
trained to do those things. He was trained to do those things throughout his entire life. Shall we go through that process? Because we can go through that process.
Look, animals are really sentient, so they want to live as we want to live.
Hold on. Their whole life, they are bred. They are bred and trained to do that position.
And still he struggled.
See, they are trained to not doing anything yet.
I don't even know if you know what the word peaceful means.
Yeah.
Like this is
This is
almost just
trickery.
like this is just a denial of reality and a change of like definitions.
He's tricking them. He's closing their eyes. He's tricking them into being peaceful, quote unquote. This is not submission. This is trickery. He's tricking them. He's not even saying the words that you're supposed to say to submit to the animal or whatever. They're not submitting. Look at them. They're struggling. They're struggling until he closes their eyes. That's not submission. That's not submission from God. This is trickery. He's tricking them. This is human trickery. We're stealing their lives and saying this is from God. This is not from God.
Literally training them to be slaughtered.
What you don't know about animals, that they don't submit to humans, they are submitting to God. He is like reading some Islamic words about God, that God is the greatest, God is bigger than all this, God is...
Are you saying that goats have a concept of God?
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, so if they don't have, why are they living?
I don't have a concept of God. I'm also alive and sentient.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
I don't believe in a God, but I'm alive. How is that possible?
Okay, in all cases, we all have the sense of being
no, I don't have a sense of God. Hey, I promise you, Abdul, I'm in my head and you are not. Abdul, I'm in my head and you are not. I promise you, I don't have a sense of God and I don't have an understanding of God. I think God doesn't exist. I think it's bullshit that people made up. How am I alive?
Okay, but animals don't have this. Animals have true...
So do they or do they not?
Follow of God. Have true...
So how come the animals who are not killed by Muslims don't have that sense?
No, they have the same sense. They are all made for one thing. They all made for God, and they are coming back to God.
How come, if they have the sense of God, they're struggling? How come they're struggling?
Because as we all wanna live, they wanna live, but they also have the ability, like the believing in God and like the sense of.
And yet they're struggling. They don't want to join God. They're trying to run away.
Exactly.
Okay, but we all already know that we are dying, in all cases. So.
Okay, can I kill you? If we're all dying, can I kill you now?
Okay, but if you
no?
kill. Okay,
then
so.
Why is it okay for an animal to be killed? They have the sense of God, and yet they don't want to join him. I think we should not let them, make them join God that they don't want to join.
Okay, so I'm talking in case of killing.
That's worse for you.
Why don't we talk about insects?
We can talk about insects once we finish this conversation.
Because Abdul, you're trying to jump into a whataboutism because you're having difficulty with this.
No, we are talking about the same topic. Killing. We are talking about killing.
It's not the same topic at all. It literally has absolutely nothing to do with that.
No, they are the same. We are killing animals. We are killing. Okay,
listen.
So say that we are killing animals and we are slaughtering them. Why don't we kill? Why we are also killing insects, killing plants? Let's say or let's say that plants don't have consciousness. We are killing insects. We are killing other living things.
Abdul.
That is already made for us.
You're changing the subject.
Okay, yeah, this is something entirely separate. Accidentally killing someone in agriculture or in self-defense of your only food source, those things are justifiable. We're talking about unjustified killing, Abdul. That's what we're talking about. We don't need to talk about these other things. We're talking about your unjustified killing.
Okay, we will head to this and after we finish this discussion, okay? So I really want to talk about it. But now tell me your question about... okay, so now animals are made for us and they really have true belief in God.
This is also you're just asserting this as well.
Let's talk that you're not
all
religious.
Existed long before human beings did. They're not made for you. They're not made for me. They exist for themselves and their own purposes. Those other animals have existed long before Homo sapiens. We've only been around for like 350,000 years. Animals have existed long before we ever did. They're not made for you. This is your human supremacist prospect.
Do you know
They're
Adam?
Not made for you.
Do you know Adam and Hawa?
These are just stories that the entire human race can't come from two individuals, dude. Do you not understand evolution?
Okay, so no, there is nothing called revolution.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I don't even know how we can have these conversations if this is like...
because we have different ideas, we have different minds.
Yeah, and your ideas are literally just wrong and have no evidence
No,
to
you
support
can't say
them.
you can't say my ideas are wrong. I can say also your ideas are wrong because we are different. So we can say each other are wrong. Each other may be wrong, maybe right.
It's a biological fact that human beings didn't come from Adam and Eve.
Okay, so you don't have any sources, or like you don't have. We can say that you are true or you are right.
It's not
or you are
possible.
right, true or wrong.
That's not how biology works.
What if it's possible? What if it's all right?
Dude, this is it's a story.
It's not a story at all.
You can't. It's not possible.
What about revolution is a story? I can say revolution is a story. Nothing.
No, I have science and actual physical demonstrable evidence.
Can I raise a monkey? Can I raise a monkey to be a human?
Humans are monkeys.
It can be.
Humans are monkeys.
Entire my life, if I raise monkeys, they can't ever be humans.
Holy shit, dude! Did you not hear what I just said? We are literally monkeys. We can't evolve out of a clade. No. Humans are monkeys. This is just a biology thing. You can't evolve out of a clade. I can go into that.
Okay, so you said
with
that
taxonomy,
monkeys have evolved and revolutioned into humans. Why when I take a
We are monkeys.
Okay, I am a monkey.
Yes.
Why when I take a monkey from a jungle, why don't it become a human like me?
What would you be expecting? Them to be magicked by a deity into Homo sapiens?
Okay, so how did I come as you tell me? I came. I'm been a monkey. Why did
it's called natural selection of allele frequency.
What? Do you actually believe that?
Yeah, I can demonstrate that via science.
Okay, though, if your science are right, if I really raise any monkey from the jungle, it will really become a human.
That's not what I said. I said, yeah, you evolved.
And let's say that I am a monkey, right? I am a monkey right now. Why don't
you are? Yeah.
Why don't I go to any animal and kill it so I can live?
You don't need to do that, Abdul. That's the whole point. You can live, you can survive and thrive on a plant-based diet.
No.
You don't have to do that.
This is.
Can you make the choice?
This is wildlife. This is wildlife. You know, it's
so
not.
You're just.
I'm just choosing what wildlife says to me that I have to live, so I kill animals and use them to get supplements and live.
You don't take your morals from what wild animals are doing.
I don't have a mind of this real conscious that we all have right now. We are thinking and debating and having some discussions.
Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah, you're a moral agent, Abdul. That's the difference.
Can I
talk about morality.
Can I get a monkey to join us and have?
We are all monkeys. That's like saying, can I get mammals to join us? Yeah, we're all mammals, Abdul. This is just some classification thing that you have a particular problem with. Yeah, I can talk to you about ethics and morality, and you have the choice to not harm and kill those other animals.
I can believe.
That's the difference.
I can believe veganism, but I can't believe revolution, to be honest.
Well, I'm sorry that you can't accept biological facts, biological consensus from scientists.
Okay, so give me your sources.
You want me to give you like all possible sources in biological science for like the past 150 years? Go open a biology textbook. Abdul, I went to school for this.
Okay, so what is the strongest source that you have that can convince me?
Convince what exactly? What is it that I'm demonstrating?
Convince me that I'm a monkey, an actual monkey.
Chimps have been taught how to drive, build fires. I don't know what exactly you're asking.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you mean like so your taxonomy, your in taxonomy, you're a monkey. Like, we're monkeys. Like, I can show you the video of the scientist describing this thing, but like, you don't believe in any. That's based in evolution. You don't even believe that human beings, you know, went through this process of natural selection. You think human beings were just magicked into existence.
I don't wanna go on this discussion because it's over for me, you know. But I have a question for those non-religious atheist people. Why do you?
Hold on. Stop right there. Just because we're able to provide you evidence doesn't mean you go and change the subject entirely.
She didn't give me any evidence. Okay.
No, you asked for evidence. Do you want some or not? I will give you evidence that a chimpanzee can build a fire. I can give you evidence.
No, I don't want to see them building a fire. You want the evidence of they were monkeys and then turned humans, as you're saying.
What fucking
human
the revolution.
Yeah, so we have a combination of DNA evidence.
I can train a sheep. I can train a sheep to do whatever I want. I can train a dog to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
You know?
So
same as monkeys. So tell me, how did monkeys turn into humans? Human beings,
it's called DNA.
Show me.
It's called the change. It's called the change in allele frequency over time.
Okay, can you send any source of this you're talking about?
Yep. The change in allele frequency over time? Yeah. That's what happens when we have children, when we combine DNA.
So I want to see.
Yeah.
The issue is also a dual. The thing is also, it depends like really much about your background knowledge, right? So if you have like absolutely very little knowledge already, you have to get the basic understanding as well, right?
I can't really hear you well, but basic understanding of what?
Yeah, you need like a basic understanding first of biology and evolution before we send you also like a huge information.
Okay,
you understand?
No, I have the.
Do you have some basic understanding?
I exactly know what is revolution and how you think about revolution. You think that it's DNA stuff and churning and also and all of these things. I know it, but I don't actually believe it because it's not true. Show me a source that makes me think true. What's your source?
Believe that evolution is not true. If you hold on. If you don't believe in evolution, why do you have domesticated animals?
No, I didn't say that I believe in the revolution.
If you don't, then why do you believe in domesticated animals? How can we do selective breeding?
Yeah, artificial selection is just the opposite point of natural selection. That's also change in allele frequency over time. It's just you did it instead of it just happening naturally. You denying evolution is denying like that domesticated animals can come from wild animals.
Okay, so guys, just show me the sources. Let's finish this thing and go into whatever you want.
We're showing you a practical application of what happened and how it works.
But also, what would it actually take you to change your mind? I mean, even if we send you something, what is like your biggest concern anyways?
That's a good
question. I will really look into the research and will take a big look at it and see the points and see the sources and how they found out that really happened.
So, Abdul, so let's say you're convinced of evolution. What does that have to do with you being vegan or not? Because I know a whole bunch of Muslims who believe and accept evolution, right? But they're not vegan either. Like, I'm not going to go and take all of the
about anyone else. We're talking about ourselves now. I'm a Muslim that don't believe in revolution. They are robust. Okay.
I'm talking about what's stopping you from being vegan. I don't think evolution is stopping you from being vegan. Okay? That's what I'm saying.
So let's make you also like an atheist antinatalist. Let's go!
Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History.
Yeah.
I have to make a really big look about this 3D collection.
Yeah, like what is your biggest doubt anyways in evolution? What is your biggest doubt?
That monkeys that made for us can be us. They are made for human beings that they have
They're
nothing
not.
to live for than doing whatever stuff, animal stuff they're doing, and they are coming back to their god as we are coming back, but they are coming back in a different way than us.
And listen, the reason why are you asking why chimpanzees are not evolving to humans? Is that what you're saying?
We share a common ancestor with every other living dude. Like, it's because you don't understand like the basics. That's why it's so confusing for you.
Okay, so you think that the genetics of monkeys are really close to our genetics, right?
They are, just demonstrably so. We actually are, again, taxonomically monkeys, okay?
It can be close, but it can be close, but it can be like our genetic.
We are monkeys, just like we're also mammals. I don't have to share the same DNA with every other mammal to also be a mammal. Like you don't understand classifications. This is why you're getting like confused.
Yeah, I think someone though asked like an important question anyway. Like even if we convinced you of evolution, would that mean that you were going to go vegan? Like is this your like primary?
Because
like gripe?
if I now believe in evolution, I can believe in veganism because I'm killing my actual friends in wildlife. So this can be happening. Like if I kill someone who's really close to me, or even not close, he might be from other country. But in all cases, they are like me, so I can't kill them.
Like their DNA.
I can't kill anyone here.
What do you mean like you? Like their DNA is similar to yours?
Yeah, we are not talking about DNA. We are talking about the shape, the thinking style, all of these things.
The what? Sorry, the shape of the animal?
No, the shape. The difference between animal's shape and human's shape and everything about it.
So okay, so
listen, you know what? Actually, hold on. I think we should make just like an atheist. That's it, and then we will convince you of evolution, and then you will be vegan. Okay? Is that fine?
No, I can't. Look. It's called the steps of Satan. You firstly turn into atheist, then after going into atheist, you look for anything to believe, like believing in revolution, so you can convince yourself that you are right and you are not right at all cases, and you are like your chance of getting a better life after this world gonna be really, really small because you don't have an actual religion that can save you after dying. You don't know what is gonna happen to you after dying. So why are you taking this big risk?
Abdul, do you know what you just do? Hold on, Abdul, you have to take a risk. So what you're doing is you're begging the question. Do you know what begging the question is?
What?
Yeah, you're begging the question. You're basically assuming your conclusion within the premise, right? So you're saying already about Satan, you're talking about the afterlife, but you never showed me actually that these kind of things actually exist.
No,
you assume them to be true.
You have talked about atheism, so I talked about something related to it.
But you can't just assume that hell is already true, right? This is why we have a debate. You have to convince me that hell is true. And Satan is true. How do you prove that? How do you prove that?
By religion, by already existing in this life. So like what would make you do bad things? Nothing. Nothing. You can be a peaceful living human that never do bad things, and we can all live a peaceful life without hurting anyone, anybody, and anything. And in the existence of Satan, this made us like all having like wrong ideas and having like bad visions that can make us turn into bad people and do bad stuff and like hurt innocent animals and like kill people and rob things, you know, and all these stuff.
Again, why do you need the devil? Why do you need like Satan? Why do you need this? I can explain you everything without it.
I don't want the devil. I want to avoid the devil.
You're not even interacting with my question. You're not responding to what I was asking you, right?
Okay, Sen, you can repeat.
I was asking you, why do you need the devil or Satan or God to explain something? Why do you need them?
Because God is the reason of we being here, all talking.
Are you sure about that?
The reason of existence.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
How do you know?
A lot of we can't have this discussion here because it's really long.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
and I won't ever like have an impact on you because will be a really long story, man.
So Abdul, so Abdul, you are related genetically to every other like living being on the planet, and you said that matters to you, so stop harming them then like that.
Okay. But in the benefit of me, I can do anything but hurting animals. I can't hurt any animal. Animals is.
I love meat, man.
Animals is good. Animals is a really peaceful something that all of us love and all of us like really like and have fun with it. But sometimes we are living for the benefit of ourselves. I'm not living for you. I'm not living for him. I'm just living for myself. That's what did drive us to get the meat from animals and get protein from them and live using them.
You can still live for yourself, but not harm others in the process, right? Like I'm living for myself right now, and I don't have to kill other people.
I can't make you believe in something that you have a different mind, so I can't.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Say hello. Yo, it's an animal. Kill him, bro. Привет. Династия по-русски.
Yeah. Nah. So guys, I gotta.
If you're gonna just troll.
I actually have to go. So sorry, not to. You guys can keep talking, obviously, but I got to.
Debugger Ram, so I would talk with you another time, but this time I will bring some sources with me, okay?
Yeah, I added you as a friend if you ever want to do a debate between just us.
Кто только что на русском говорил?
And also just.
Speak English, guys. Guys, speak English, please.
I'm not sure who is talking Russian.
Anyone else in the chat who's a non-vegan? Just anyone else in the Discord right now who's a non-vegan? Just send me a friend request. Tell me you're non-vegan, and I can add you to a server in case we ever want just like a one-on-one debate.
Okay, so we can have a discussion any time we want. I will.
Not any time. It would be when I would have to be doing like a live stream or something. But yeah, I mean, we could message back and forth. But like this,
I can message you whenever you have a time. We can debate. We can have a talk.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. What are you doing? All right, guys. Yeah, I do have to get out of here though. I have an appointment to get to. But it was great talking to everyone.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
I think we had some good conversations in the beginning of the day, at least.
Appreciate you.
So, yeah.
Appreciate you.
All right. See you, everyone.